Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the app today.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Welcome back to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
I can't yay enough. I would like to match your yay, but it's impossible because I'm as excited as you. No, I'm excited. Your level of yay, I'm right there with you, man.
I love it.
This is crazy. Thank you guys for joining us. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmie Whisman. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thank you guys so much for all the iTunes reviews this week.
So crazy.
Got us to 250. We
Keep
appreciate
that shit
it.
going.
Yeah, guys, please, if you like us, if you like what we do, please give us 5 stars. Tell us you're following instructions, following directions, however you want to say it.
Whatever.
But please, it helps us out so much.
You're driving us up the charts. Keep that shit going.
So
I want
please,
people to see our fucking name.
Please, or at least something. A couple of updated things for you this week. We have to get into right off the top before we get into anything else. First of all, one of our criminals that we've discussed, Ion Crotoru, who actually won the 2016 Scummy Award for person most likely to hunt me down and kill me.
Right.
So he actually has died.
He will not kill you.
He will not kill me. I'm so excited.
He was found dead at a hotel.
Yeah, I don't mean to be happy about someone's death, but I was afraid of this man. So now I'm like, sweet.
Fuck
cool.
it.
Seriously, you got to go back and listen to Ion Crotoru episode. Yeah. He was a wrestler, but don't worry about the wrestling or whatever. He was one of the craziest people we've ever encountered.
Unbelievable.
He's like a crazy, insane biker. Yeah. Just to give you a taste of Ion Crotoru to listen to, him and his friends got kicked out. Him and his biker friends got kicked out of a strip club for having their biker colors on. Right. Well, wasn't allowed. They kicked him out. They were so mad.
Their logical step next was
to blow up the strip club. They went home to
they didn't do it.
To their bomb fridge, as we said, and picked a bomb out. They're like, let's go blow it up. And instead of blowing up the strip club, they blew up the police station nearby and a part of a bank. Right. So this psychopath gets thrown out of a strip club, and there's a police station exploding because of that. So that's the type of psychopath we're dealing with. So please go back and listen to Ion Crotoru.
He's dead, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, you can laugh at him all
The
you
other
want.
update is that we
the
covered
best.
Stanley Wilson a couple weeks ago. How long ago was that? Was that
a couple months ago.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah, it was like episode 39, I want to say, something like that. He was like 4 months ago.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
my God. So the Stanley Steamer has a boy, Stanley Steamer Jr.
Yes, Junior, and he has junior behavior.
He was
to the
arrested, naked, and
bleeding
shot in the belly in the fountain.
Bleeding out in an old man's fountain.
Found again.
Naked,
again. Breaking into a house.
This guy gets naked and breaks into houses. Stanley Wilson Jr. We're gonna have to give him his own episode someday because
it's coming.
He got like 20 minutes at the end of the one episode, and now he's doing more.
Yeah.
So look for
fantastic.
that. And also,
the other update that I've got, somebody messaged me on Facebook. His name is Leon Collins, and his dad. I hope it's not Leon Collins Sr. He didn't say, though.
Let's hope not.
But his dad went to high school with Dexter Manley.
My God.
And said that Dexter Manley in high school was a complete dumb shit.
Why doesn't that shock me? He was illiterate, for Christ's sake.
He got caught ditching school at the pizza place with Leon's dad, and the police approached him and he was so fucking stupid. They asked him what he was doing there, and he said, just ditching school, you guys."
That's the first thing that came to his mind.
You're gonna take me back to school?
First thing that came to his mind. Just ditching school, guys.
Just doing what I'm not supposed to be doing.
God.
And then his dad actually helped him sign his declaration for college.
Really?
Helped him write his name.
Well, Christ,
he even actually told him, "Go ahead and just draw an X. Fuck it."
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They saw you do it. It's fine.
So awesome.
Dexter Manley, go back a few episodes there. What was he? Episode 55, I believe.
54.
Episode 54, Dexter Manley.
So good.
Couldn't read the warning signs is the name of it.
Such a Dextard.
He's an illiterate. Yeah, such a Dextard. Also, too, outside of
this
sports,
is the best update.
This is the best update on a personal level for all you guys that have been with us and and sat here through us this whole time. We are going to be performing live, which is that's cool, but whatever. We're going to be performing the Crime and Sports podcast live at the 2017 South by Southwest Festival.
Yay! That's the biggest yay.
That's the biggest yay.
I love it.
If you know anything about South by Southwest, it's pretty much just the biggest festival in the world.
Give you an idea, Jimmy Kimmel relocated his entire fucking show for a week down to Austin, Texas, because this festival is so goddamn big.
This is the first year they're doing podcasts, and there's only 42, I believe, podcasts that are going to be there. And
41 other than us.
And we have to thank Sarah Hunt because she said, "Hey, I'm going to enter this. I'm going to enter you guys in this." And I said,
"What?"
I said, well, "Why? They're not going to accept us. They're not going to want us South by Southwest." And she said, "No." I said, "Well, does it cost anything?" And she said, "No." I was like, "All right, fine. Who cares?" Totally forgot about it. And then as we were recording last week, we got an email saying we were accepted. So we're very excited. That'll be Friday, March the 17th at 5 p.m. If anybody's planning on being at South by Southwest, come by and say hi to us.
So if you guys are counting things that you've done for us, mark 2. 1, this fucking studio, and number 2, you guys helped us get to South by Southwest by listening. This is fucking huge, and we can't thank you enough. Thank you.
It's as big as it can be, so thank you so much, guys. You helped us out on the business end, because like we've said a million times, we're comics. We don't have a network.
We don't fucking know anybody.
We don't know anybody. We're just putting it out there, and it's you guys that are making people listen
I wish
to
I could
it,
go on Joe Rogan and promote this shit. I wish I could go talk to fucking Bert Kreischer. Any of these guys.
No. We're
Adam
here.
Carolla. Holler at me.
Yeah, so, whatever.
The last update that I do want to give, just a real quick thank you to Mr. Mark June Wells, who sent us
those are great.
Two of the coolest shirts ever.
Sent us a Yakima Sun Kings shirt and a Spirits of St. Louis shirt, which are
awesome.
References from previous episodes, and thank you so much. We really appreciate them. Man. And we'll be wearing them next week when we record, I'm sure. Both of them. So let's get into our Criminal of the Week.
I can't wait.
It's a fun one.
Yes.
It's a fun one. We're going into a race car driver.
Oh.
But he doesn't have much racing. It's mainly just fuckery. He's a complete jackass. It's David Walther.
Oh.
Salt Walther is his name.
Never heard of him.
Salt Walther. He's actually a famous guy. You've probably seen him.
Get the fuck out of here.
That's his nickname, Salt.
Okay.
Nobody named him Salt.
All right, good.
David,
salt water.
There's a reason why he's named Salt is because of salt water, and we'll get into why here. The fuckery began on November 22nd, 1947 for Mr. Walther here. He is the son of George Walther II. So his dad's a junior.
Okay.
Fuckery behavior. And his brother is George Walther III.
Oh, my God.
So there is junior behavior running rampant through this family, I'm telling you right now.
He learns it from them.
Big time. A very wealthy family he comes from. George Walther Sr., or the second, but he's senior to the third. Mm-hmm. His father here, the patriarch of the Walther family. That's confusing as shit. He was the owner of the Dayton Steel Foundry.
Okay.
So big steel money, basically.
Yeah.
These are people who, would probably have, children working at some sort of big wheel with sparks coming off of it, with dirt all over their faces. And they'd come in and be like, dock him 12 cents pay for peeing. You know what I mean? Something like that. Dock him 3 hours. He peed. I saw him. Shit like that. He had to go to the bathroom. Yeah. No lunch breaks. Like if that's his dad, I picture. Also very, very, very into racing, his dad. Into all sorts of racing, powerboat racing, and, of course, car racing.
Yeah.
He fielded Indy cars. He had his own team. He fielded Indy cars for the Indy 500 in both 1958 and 1959.
So he's got some
his
money.
Father. His dad has big money.
Okay.
This isn't like, you had a small business and, you had a sporting goods store that did half decent. This is steel money.
Yeah.
This is like industry money.
Yeah,
big
that's
time
big.
shit.
You can't just do that in your house. You know what I mean? That's why steel costs so fucking much, because you can't just build fucking.
You need stuff and flames going on everywhere.
You can't just cut angle in your garage.
No, that doesn't work. So you can't make steel. So he's doing that. Like I said, his brother George III, which I think is hilarious. Another.
That's the other part. Is that like George III sounds like a very, very prestigious guy.
It does.
Your dad's a fucking iron worker.
Well, yeah. Well,
granted, they got money.
He's a magnate, but George III.
They got a smelting pot, but still.
Salt's brother, George III, doesn't go by George III, though.
Oh.
He goes by Skip.
Oh, Christ.
So we got Skip and Salt are the two kids. It's old Skip and Salt.
Oh, Jesus, they're so clever.
Unreal. His mother.
4-letter words.
Yes, Skip and Salt. Well,
Right.
Skip, I think they actually use 2 P's on Skip.
Really?
Too. It's Skip double P. I saw it in all the articles.
The worst.
We have some information on him we'll have to relay to you. His parents, like we said, George Sr. or the second, or however you want to say it, and his mom, Pat. Pat also came from a wealthy family. Okay. She's known as, like, she drives Ferraris around.
What?
And, like, smokes, like, she smoked cigarettes, and she had, like, the cigarette holders.
plastic thing?
But it was a gold one.
Oh,
she had
Jesus.
a gold cigarette holder, and she drove Ferraris around, and she's known to be like a crazy, kind of aggressive rich lady, basically.
What town is this in?
Dayton, Ohio.
Oh, okay.
They're all from Dayton, Ohio.
All right.
This whole family.
A shithole.
Yeah, they're the kings of Dayton, kings and queens of Dayton. Both the parents loved fast cars. Both the parents liked motorcycles also.
What?
They used to race places on his and hers Harleys, the mother and father.
That's weird.
In the early 50s.
That's bizarre.
That's very strange. Father is, and mother loves fast cars, loves races, loves all that thing. Father is an adrenaline junkie like the sons are.
Yeah.
He needs speed and he needs, all that shit. He needs input.
That's
here.
bizarre.
It's very, very bizarre.
I feel like they fuck in the garage, like rolling
all
all in the
they
oil.
Do. They do. They're like, it smells like gasoline.
Yeah.
Nice.
My cock is hard. It smells like oil in here. My giner's wet. Get over here.
And a relationship like that's going to burn hot.
Yeah.
It's going to burn
Fuck
hot.
yeah, it does.
And they get divorced in the mid-60s. You can't. That's not going to last forever.
No.
It's not going to last.
There's only so many different ways you can fuck somebody.
If you're fucking with oil all over you, that's not going to last forever.
No.
It's just too much.
Yeah.
It's just too much.
Too much
joy.
too soon.
Too much too soon, man. I'm telling you. She gets divorced, like I said, mid-60s. Mother remarries a doctor.
Oh, she went the other way.
Nice doctor. Yeah.
She wants the money, but she's done. She's done with the Pennzoil fucking.
Yeah, well, he's also the father's. He's out there. The father. He's very aggressive and he's very has to dominate everything.
Yeah.
And I could see her being like, "All right, asshole,
It's enough.
That's enough. You can win the Harley race, fine."
Our sex life is sponsored by Valvoline.
Yeah,
it's enough. Calm the fuck
really.
down.
That's too much. Too much. Both Skip and David race power boats in the 60s.
Okay.
And that's where David got his nickname Salt, because he was a power boat guy in the Salt.
Right.
So stupid. Why accept that even?
So it's obviously not on the Great Lakes then. He's actually racing down. He's racing down the coast though.
They go, they'll go out to the coast, and then there's lakes there that they do the powerboat races in. Because most of these powerboat races, unless they're like the ones like we discussed with Ben Kramer. By the way, this powerboat stuff is just funny because it reminds me of the Ben Kramer episode. Please go back and listen to Ben Kramer. By the way,
smuggling like a motherfucker.
It's Murder at the Speed of Smuggling, I believe is the name of the episode. Put it to you this way. A highlight of that episode is him trying to escape from jail via helicopter. Yeah. So that's the kind of guy we're dealing with.
He tried to one-hand a fucking helicopter.
Yeah, he tried to hang off the bottom of a helicopter like an action star.
Bruce Willis.
And fly out of prison. And shocker, spoiler alert,
it didn't work.
Unsuccessful. So definitely want to get into that. A lot of power boat racing in that one because that's what he did. But yeah, he's known as a rich kid. Both of them are known as rich kids. But George, or Skip, as we'll say, Skip is not known as like a prick. Skip is known as a nice guy, a conscientious guy, someone who respects his parents.
That's why he did it. That's why he changed the name. He wants to try to be a humble, blue-collar, working-class boy. So he's like, just call me Skip. Fuck all that George III shit.
Yeah, well, I get that's the nickname they gave him anyway because he was
somebody
on
else did.
So Skipper, like a boat. Skip. That's where it came from.
I got it.
And Skip and Salt.
Yeah.
And so, but Salt was disliked by many people.
Because he's salty.
He's salty. No, he's known as like a playboy, rich kid, arrogant fuckhead, basically. He's like a 90210 cast member in a powerboat.
Yeah.
Pretty much in the
That's
Midwest.
The same thing.
Yeah, with steel money
right
at his back. Not liked by everybody. Desperately wants to get into car racing. He likes the boats, but he really wants to get into cars. That's his passion. And he gets into it. 1972 is his first Indy 500 race.
So he's racing those ones.
He's racing Indy cars, but he races whatever he can get his hands on.
Really?
We'll get into here. He's racing
like Mom.
Yeah, and then exactly whatever. Let's race home and fuck in the oil. So Indy 500, if you know what Indy cars are, they're the ones with the open wheels,
right? And the big wing on the back, and it's a single seat with like a cockpit.
If you
looks like an airplane with no wings.
Yeah,
like a jet. Like a fucking fighter jet with no wings.
Pretty much.
And put wheels on it.
Up. If you think of like a race car, that's what you'd think of, basically.
Yeah.
Not what Tom Cruise was driving in Days of Thunder. Not that one. Different. So he went on to come in last in that first Indy 500.
Good for him.
I think there was a car problem. I think it was a non-finish. I'm
That'll
pretty sure.
humble you right up.
That'll
when
humble
you're like,
you up.
fuck it, I'm done with boats.
Yeah.
I'm getting right into cars, and you're in the last fucking place.
And a lot of people too were kind of saying like, oh, he gets to race in their Indy 500 because his daddy owns the team and he's a rich kid and his daddy paid him and blah 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 blah. Basically, he didn't earn it. Everybody says he didn't pay his dues. He didn't pay his dues.
Well, he got what he deserved then.
He does. There's some talent here though, because he that same year there's, I guess, Triple Crown of races I don't know about. It's Indy 500, Pocono, and Ontario.
Okay,
are the Triple Crown.
That makes sense.
He came in 8th at Pocono and 6th in Ontario that year.
Wow.
So they said, all right. I mean, people were saying, oh, he's a rich kid. He just got no talent. He can't drive. And then people were like, well, actually, he did this. So he actually is
And understand,
decent.
too, with those cars, it's not just roundy.
No.
It's fucking left, right, left, left. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, well, not the Indy
turns.
500, though. That's just
Is
a
that
circle.
a round and round?
Yeah, it's a circle, I think. They just drive around in a big circle. I fucking hate racing, so I don't know. I can't watch that shit.
I really want to say that it's lots of twists and turns.
That's
I may be wrong.
No, that's like street race. European street racing, they do that.
But this Indy shit, I know that they do it that way.
I think with that Indy, I'm pretty sure the Indy 500.
We're
it's
get so many
500. It's
emails.
500 miles.
500 miles,
It's
yeah.
a mile.
Okay.
So it's 500.
All right.
I think it's just like Daytona.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's okay. Now there's people out there going,
So
hey,
many-
fucking idiots.
Hey, you idiots!
Yeah,
Google. You've
we
got
know
phones,
this.
you fuckers.
No, I have a stack. I
Yeah.
researched everything else, and I didn't think to research.
I didn't think to be like Jimmie's going to ask the dumbest fucking
it's
questions.
a circle because I know the Indy 5. We'll get into why I know this in a second.
Yeah. All right, go.
March 12th, 1973 is why I know this. We're after that, but this is an interesting thing. Right before May 12th, 1973, it's 2 weeks before the Indy 500. They're doing practice rounds and shit like that. People are anticipating that someone will break the 200 mile per hour mark in trials, which had never been done back then. So everybody was excited. Turns out a driver named Art Pollard dies during a practice session to start this.
Shit.
So it puts a black cloud over this Indy 500 immediately, like right away. He's dead. Johnny Rutherford, who seems to win every year in the 70s from when I looked this up, he ends up in the trials hitting 199.071 miles an hour.
Just missed it.
Just missed it there, Teddy Ruxpin, Rutherford, whatever the hell your name is. I couldn't remember his name for a minute. All that came out of my mouth was Teddy Ruxpin, which is not his name.
James is an 80s baby.
I promise you, his name is not Teddy Ruxpin.
That's awesome.
Jesus Christ. So on May 28th, 1973, is their first attempt at the Indy 500. It's raining constantly. It rained all weekend. This is on a Monday. It keeps raining. It's a slick track. They're worried about it.
Yeah.
People
are going almost 200 fucking miles an hour.
When it's wet.
When it's wet.
Not great. So
I can barely do that at 40 miles an hour.
Yeah,
That's terrifying.
It's a little squirrely going around a turn. These guys are like, they'll drop it down to 180 to take that turn. No problem.
Granted, I drive a Civic, but that's front-wheel drive. You get better traction with front-wheel drive. These are rear-wheel drive, fucking 1,000 horsepower or better.
I mean, they are an inch from the ground and have a wide wheelbase, but still, they're
Even
very scary.
It's terrifying.
This race, I didn't know this many people went. 300,000 people at this race in the 300,000.
Oh yeah.
That's
NASCAR's like that every fucking weekend.
Wyoming as a state has like 500,000. And it's huge. It's huge. It's enormous.
I
Wyoming.
love seeing you trying to wrap your head around white trash.
300,000. I don't know.
Never underestimate race fans. They're fucking batshit. They're crazy.
It, man,
they'll park their fucking motorhome on the infield and just sit there for a week drinking Budweiser and watching cars go round and round.
Jesus Christ.
It's insane. And there's titties everywhere. It's just... I can't describe it to you.
Is it the danger? Do they like the fact that people might die in front of them? Is that what it is?
It's pretty bad shit. I've been to some NASCAR races and it's fun, but it's not my cup of tea. I've been to a few and I had fun doing it because I was getting wasted, but it wasn't.
Is that what? Yeah, that's what the attraction.
Maybe it's just sitting
I just want
and
to drink
drinking
outside
and watch them get dizzy. That's
hey, I'm not going to argue. Yeah. I don't know if that's your pleasure. Go for it.
There's a lot of sportsmanship in it. It is an athletic thing. I will say that. Because it's fucking hard.
No, if you can drive for 500 miles in a circle, driving that, imagine the white knuckling you're doing in that. I do think that's an amazing physical and mental feat to be able to get through that race.
You watch the videos of the camera that's in there watching them drive, and their hands are going so fucking crazy.
Yeah,
it's bizarre.
Because if anything happens, they're going to die quickly. And something. Let's get into something that happened here in 1973. Like I said, rain falling all weekend. They didn't know if the first couple laps were going to be under a caution. They didn't know how they were doing it, but halfway through the first lap, they dropped the green flag, and everybody goes. Everybody guns it. I mean, it's like, everyone trying to get position.
Isn't
at
that
point.
Start crazy? It's worse than rugby.
It's weird, man.
It's bizarre.
It's super strange. And then they all just go nuts, weaving in and out. I'm like, how are they not hitting each other? Well, this particular day, a racer named Steve Krizaloff had engine trouble, and his car slowed down in the front, causing a huge...
Oh, no.
It slowed down just as everyone was gunning it.
Yeah.
Because he gunned it and it didn't work, and everyone else gunned it, so everyone's swerving to not hit him.
Like that asshole that cuts you off to make a right-hand turn with no turn signal.
And then you have to stop, and everybody's swerving around him.
Right.
That's who this guy is, basically, but he can't help it. The car died on him. So Walther here, Salt tries to avoid people and tries to go around on the right side. He guns it around the right side. He's like, I got to get around this shit.
Take it easy, Cold Trickle.
People are swerving all over the place, right? So he tries to go around just as, like I said, other racers are swerving to avoid the car that's slowed down. So it's very dangerous. Walther ends up touching wheels. Which doesn't seem like a big deal.
Oh, that's a big deal.
It's a huge deal, apparently. Touches wheels with a racer named Jerry Grant.
Yeah.
What happens next is the craziest visual thing I've ever seen in a sporting event in my fucking life. We will put it on our social media at Crime and Sports on all the major outlets there.
Yeah.
It's insane. Okay, let's explain this here. Wow. He touches tires and is immediately catapulted over the wall.
Awesome.
Whoa,
wait.
There's the wall, and then there's the big fence.
And then there's spectators.
He is shot over the wall into the fence.
Okay.
Takes down the fence. With that. Takes down a big hunk of the fence that he's hit. As he hits the fence and tears it down, it snaps the front of his car off.
Oh, shit.
The whole nose up to the cockpit.
Yeah.
So you can see his legs.
Oh,
His legs are exposed as the car is in the air and has it snapped off on the wall and fence. His legs are exposed. And at that point, it broke open the fuel tanks also because at that point, the fuel tanks are right up by the driver for some fucking reason. I don't know who thought that was a good idea.
Placement.
Where do we put that? How about right by the driver in case they crash? We don't really want to get them burned up good.
Put the flammable shit right up there next to him.
Yeah. So, okay. So right now, he has... Try to picture this.
Yeah.
There, you see a race. There's a wall and a fence, and he's hit it, and he's shot up over the wall into the fence, taking a piece of the fence down, which has taken the front end of his car off. Okay, that's simple. Fuel, as the nose broke off on the fence, fuel sprays out all the way to the first few rows of fans in the grandstands, burning the shit out of people, which is not great.
It's on fire?
That's the fuel burned them, though. That all over them. It's
all hot.
Ethanol or methanol. It's very hot shit. Burns these people.
Ethanol.
Right. I don't know what the fuck they're putting in these cars.
That sounds like some nasty drugs.
I don't know what they're doing. Yeah. Give me some methanol, man. Cook it up. Come on, man. I need it. So, yeah, ethanol they do. So, anyway, as the car crashes back to the track, it lands back on the track and spins, does a complete spin out like a sprinkler. Yeah. And it's also like a sprinkler because it is spraying fuel that is on fire all over the track like a sprinkler as he turns.
Badass, like a firework.
Like a firework. It's exactly what it's like a jumping jack, basically. But shooting out flaming, gasoline.
Holy shit.
Everyone around him can't see anything because there's a fireball takes up the whole track. His car's a fireball.
Yeah.
He is engulfed in flames. People are running, trying not to run into him, and they're hitting each other. Yeah. There's cars just everywhere, guys going to the side. It's fucking insane.
And at this point, he's not a criminal, so we feel bad.
We feel bad for this guy. He's, first of all, too, his legs are exposed to all this. I mean, this is bad. And as it's crashing, too, people are hitting him. His car's spinning, rolling, doing the whole thing. It's fucking insane. So he's igniting this huge fireball with spraying fuel. Everyone's can't get around. It's a huge scene. You can see drivers like getting out of their car, running away, patting themselves, because they thought they were on fire. Because also, too, the flame burns clear. For a while on this. So there's the giant flame, and that burns that, and then the clear flame burns underneath it. So these guys might have been on fire, and they're patting themselves down. They have fire retardant suits, but still not to this level. It's not going to work. So anyway, they're doing that. Salt's car finally stops, and you can see half of him sticking out of the front of it. You can see his legs sticking out. All the crews rush in. The scene is fucking bedlam. I mean, the race is shut. It's bedlam. First of all, there's cars spun out, tires all over the place, a smoke cloud like you've never seen, like a building burned down, and just people running all over the place, fire extinguishers. Yeah. It's crazy. They go over the salt. He's burning in the car because it's burning clear as they're trying to get him out of the car, which takes a couple minutes because his car's fucked up. And I don't know if back then they had the easy whatever. Right. So, yeah, it's insane. They rush in. They take him away. Luckily, the fuel had spread out and dispersed, so it didn't just stay on him and burn the whole time. Yeah. So he lost most of the fuel on everything. I've never seen a sprinkler of fire before, though. It was nuts to watch.
Thank God for that sprinkler, though, because otherwise it just splashes all over him.
Yeah, totally.
And then he's in trouble.
Salt ends up, as you can imagine, he's severely injured out of this. He is burned over 40% of his body. Jesus. You know how bad that is, burn-wise? Dude, that's a lot. Yeah. He's like fucking Freddy Krueger, basically, in the body.
Burns are terrible.
They're terrible. He's in critical condition in the hospital. In addition to his burns, he has severe injuries to his hands, an injury that you can relate to with your half a finger.
Stub?
With your stub. Several fingers on the left hand had to be partially amputated. So he has several fingers on his hand.
Oh, no.
And for the rest of his life...
I only have one.
You only have one. He's got several. And for the rest of his life, and this will come up later in a crime, he wears a black glove on that hand at all times to not show, because that's apparently pretty gross.
But here's the thing about wearing a glove when you've got a missing finger. You either have to lop those off and then stitch the top so that it fits properly, because they don't make one for your fucking claw.
Or else you point and it's going another direction and it just doesn't look right at all.
So I wear them for like yard work and stuff, and I've got one. My ring finger on my left hand is the one that's fucked up, and the tippy top of every one of my gloves, flopping. Not even. It's just like a gnarled tree branch. It's like it can't decide which direction to go. It doesn't want to go forward or back or left or right. It just goes all four directions, and it's fucking ridiculous.
That's so fun. So, in addition to that, the bones in his right hand were crushed. Eventually, the bones healed at strange angles. It fucked up his right hand completely. He spends 2.5 months in a burn center before he's even in the regular hospital. 2.5 months in a burn center getting untold skin grafts and everything. And I know...
The worst part about burns is that like when it burns your skin off, you can just start bleeding out of nowhere.
And this
just pushes through your fucking whatever's left.
I know a guy who had pretty much the exact same injury. He worked in a glass shop and was denatured alcohol, and he didn't know he was on fire. He was burned from like the waist down, pretty much destroyed. He had to get his whole legs. You know, he couldn't go out in the sun for like 5 years and everything. He almost died. I mean, he really almost died. It was a miracle he lived.
And then he's got to wear sleeves on his legs.
Yeah, he had to wear those sleeves, those like lycra shit. Yeah, he had to wear those tights for a long time. It was a mess. So, I mean, I know this injury is horrible.
Terrible.
Oh, and it took him, years to recover from it fully.
Just to give you guys what happened to me, I found an artillery simulator when I was a kid and pulled the actuator out of it, and it exploded in my hand. Now, that sounds terrible, and it blew up my hand. It collapsed my hand, and it took my finger. It took the side of my pinky. It blew my thumb off. They stitched it back on. But that is not nearly as bad as what it smells like. The smell of burnt flesh is when they talk about that in wars and stuff. Don't even think you can comprehend what that smells like. It is the worst thing.
How bad burning hair smells like? That's like 2%.
Not even close.
It's like not 2%. Even close. You're like, well, that's the trailer that comes off of it. The cherry on top.
You pray for that part of it. You can't wait till you can smell that again. Anyway, go on.
Salt ends up having over 100 surgeries on his hands to get his hands right again. And like I said, tons and tons of skin grafts. Now, as you can imagine, this is an extremely painful process, all of this. And it's for months. He's in the hospital for 6 months. So all of these surgeries, all of these skin grafts, just the pain of that much burning, they had him pumped on morphine like a bastard, which you can imagine, right?
Yeah, but that's going to give you...
Problem is, he ends up liking his painkillers, and the painkiller that is his painkiller of choice, he doesn't even get into you'd imagine maybe
Vicodin or Percocet.
Dilaudid.
Holy shit.
Dilaudid.
That stuff's amazing.
Okay. Dilaudid.
I've only had it once in my life. I had my appendix taken out. Yeah. Listen, guys, I'm a fucking disaster.
Yeah, you are.
But
physically, you're a mess.
I had it once, and
it was. I don't know if you noticed.
Sorry. I had it once, and it was when before they were going to take me up to have the emergency surgery done. I was in horrible pain because my appendix had already burst. They didn't know that, but they gave it to me to make me comfortable. And as soon as they put that shit in, bro, it takes no time at all, and you're just like, fuck it, I'll just go home. Fuck the appendix. I'm fine.
It's an opioid derivative of morphine.
Fuck yes.
If you don't know what it is.
It's amazing.
It's the reason why it became popular is it's much more water soluble than anything else. So it can be taken with just a small amount of water and it goes in there. It's basically, if you've watched Deadwood, again, let's go back to Deadwood. the stuff that the main woman there, what's her name?
Don't look at me.
Mrs. Garrett there, who owns the bank and all that. The stuff that she's taking, that she's hooked, that's what Dilaudid is.
She's just drinking it.
This is what society women used to just take because they were bored.
Their favorite.
They'd say they had headaches and they'd get that as a thing, and they were they were fucking bored, and they just literally, it was, if you were in the 1880s and you were bored, your doctor would give you some Dilaudid, and you were a junkie. So there was tons of women junkies out there. And also, it's what they were after in Drugstore Cowboy, the movie with Matt Dillon.
Is that what they were getting?
Matt Dillon, that was the apex. That was like, we got all this shit, and then we got the Dilaudid, which is like, that's the treasure. Everything else, who gives a fuck? The Dilaudid, we have to figure out how to ration out. Yeah, it's one of those things. So that's where we're on there. Now, we have it in their own words, on his injured hand.
Is that stuff addictive? It's got to be, right?
It's
an opioid.
It's heroin.
Yeah,
it's heroin.
It's heroin.
In its most it's heroin in like its most aggressive form. Basically, it's as strong as it comes. It's what junkies are like. If I could get that
makes sense.
I'll be good for a while.
I'll bet if I had it
now,
it wouldn't be near as good as it was that night, because that's what they do with heroin. You're chasing the dragon. You're chasing that first high.
Probably.
And if that shit that I got in the hospital is what heroin does, I understand it.
You understand?
I fucking get it.
Understand half of these cases we've done.
So amazing.
Half of these criminal
coke
athletes.
I don't get, but that shit I get.
Yeah, that's and I would assume if you have any pain, and if you have 100 surgeries and skin grafts, he's got pain.
Yeah.
So I mean, I get him going. Yeah,
I could use some comfort.
I could use a little comfort. We have it in their own words on his injured hand here. He says, in their own words, quote, "I never took a drug in my life until I had the wreck. It was crushed. I can straighten them if I work real hard at it. They'll straighten. But the doctors with the tendons said, quote, we can make them where you can drive a race car again because the doctor," he talks like a fucking retard, huh? "Because the doctor hand to operation this hand." That's the quote. It's not even had. Like every one of his quotes are like, you have to figure out what he's talking about. Run-on sentences.
Ugh.
He's just one big run-on sentence.
Well, he's probably got some brain damage that is probably undiagnosed.
Possibly. To do the shit that he did and to be this kind of junkie for all his shit, I feel like he had brain damage to begin with. Yeah. Like to be like, I'm going to drive the power boats they were driving. We've got to explain this to get into this guy's character. He's driving powerboats in the unlimited class. Okay. That's what his father owns, the team, and his father's friend. Yeah. Unlimited class, there's different classes of racing, which are this big of an engine, that big of an engine. Unlimited is like literally get a fucking airplane, make it float, and fucking drive as fast as you can. And if you die, you die. Right. Basically, in these races, it's every other race, someone's dying. That's what it is. Remember we did with Ben Kramer.
It's crazy.
Every time we did a race, like Ben Kramer won this race. Yeah. Oh, and this guy died in that race. It's just someone's going to die.
And if you've ever seen a powerboat wreck, insane. It's so fucking scary. Because when they flip,
confetti.
It's just, that's it. Gone. It's just a poof. Yeah, and everything's gone.
These things are driving 150 miles an hour. He was going on the water.
Across choppy ass.
Touching. Just tink, tink, tink. And anything goes wrong, you flip and explode and you're dead. Deal. That's it. You're dead. It's fucking nuts. So that's the type of psycho we're dealing with. So August 18th, and that's fun.
Yeah, that's a blast to him. That's a Saturday.
Wow. August 18th, 1973, Salt is finally released from the hospital. Oh. So this is from May. So that's a long time to be in the hospital. Yeah. Oh. I mean, just to recover and get all the surgery, because they had to keep doing surgeries also. Now, January 15th, 1974 is Salt's return to driving.
Wow.
Already. Yeah. Basically, he had the doctors.
4 months after he gets out of the hospital, he's back behind the fucking wheel.
Back behind the wheel.
That's crazy.
Not just back doing everyday things. Back
not being a crew chief.
Driving
and being
200 miles an hour.
Oh, my God.
They basically made it so he can grip a steering wheel.
You know what they did?
Specially
I guarantee they duct taped his fucking hands to that wheel.
Maybe. No. He has an iron grip.
Really?
That's the thing. Like, because some waiter in a later article said, like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know your fingers were blown off or whatever. Wow. And he's like, I can still grip, though. And he, like, gripped the guy's arm. Wow. He's like, you feel like? I was like, holy shit, yeah, you do. Like, apparently he can grip. They made it so he could grip a steering wheel.
So it's like the Rookie of the Year where he broke his arm and he was able to throw like 300 miles an hour.
I feel like the doctors were sitting there like Let's just make his hands grab the steering wheel. Fuck it. Like,
Let's
what do you
make
say?
him RoboCop.
Let's just like make a weird thing. You know what? I'm going to put a tail on him. I just thought of it. I don't know. Who knows? Let's just try it. Who knows? I mean, the hands thing might work. If not, he's got a tail. Something's a conversation starter, if nothing else. You know?
So awesome. Make him operate the gear shifter with the tail. Let's do it.
Fuck
it. Let's go.
Fire it up. His hands don't work, right? So, January 15th, like I said, 1974, returns to driving at the Ontario Motor Speedway. Yeah. He says the car felt good and he felt good.
At Ontario, one of the Triple Crowns.
Yeah, it's one of the Triple Crowns.
One of the big ones.
He jumps right into it.
Fuck.
Drove an average of 185.1 miles an hour in this race, so he's not fucking scared.
Sans fingers.
That's incredible. Not scared. I mean, you'd think he would be just unsure of the grip he would have, because I'm sure that there is nerve damage too, and he probably can't feel a lot. So you'd think he'd be like, I'm going to take it easy this race, so I know if I can feel shit, because if I can't, I'm going to crash into a wall and die.
How many times have you like held on to something and then like almost let go, and then those top joints were the only ones that held it in? Yeah. Like that's the ones he's missing.
He's missing.
Those are the ones that you rely on.
They just made his hands into steering wheel gripping claws, basically. He's like a bird now that just like up on a power line, just, gripping it for life.
That's awesome.
Unreal. So yeah, this article was all about how it was in the Victoria Advocate, January 15, 1974, all about how, he doesn't give a shit, basically. Yeah. The car's good. He feels good. He's going to drive. This is what he does. He doesn't even ever thought about it twice, which, I was interested in the article, but not as interested as I was in the amazing sales, Jimmy. The sales.
So good.
So if you are in January 15th, 1974, and you are in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada, you need to get down to Kmart. I'm going to tell you right now, because they have 5-inch stereo speakers, regular $688, only $4 each. 5 inches, guys. Wow. Get on there. You can get a front end alignment, only $6.
At Kmart.
$6. Oh, yeah, they had an auto center and everything back then. That was when Kmart was like a legitimate store.
Alignment for $6. You know what it is now? It's like $180.
$6.
That's unbelievable.
Also, too, Firestone steel radial tires, 4 for only $129.
That's a deal.
Which is insanely cheap. You can't get one tire for $129. And also, too, while you're at Kmart, you're having your front end realigned, you're getting your stereo speakers put in, you're getting your new tires put on, head over near there to Stimson Furniture over at 1008 North Cameron. Yeah. Their phone number is 573-9127. Don't know the area code, and they're probably not in business because this was 40 years ago. But just in case you're in 1974, they have a 4-piece master bedroom set, including an armoire and mirror.
How about that?
For only $298. Jimmy.
That's a fucking steal.
That's a deal, guys.
Kmart doesn't even have it that cheap.
They don't even have it that cheap. So you can get, for all of this, $298, $120. I mean, basically, for less than $500, you could get your whole car fixed and a new bedroom set back then, and come home from Kmart with all this shit. Incredible.
That's hysterical.
That's my
guarantee
favorite.
The section of the store he's not visiting is the fucking glove section.
No. He's like, I don't know about those. Can I get a small and a medium? Do they come in different sizes? I need one small, one medium.
Can I get a kid's glove for the left?
These don't. I have to buy 2 pairs? Fuck. Doesn't everyone have
It's like somebody that has
hands?
Like has a short foot and a long foot. You got to buy 2 fucking shoes.
That's
2
what
pairs.
it is. Yeah. Now, June 1974, we're at the Miami Marine Stadium. This is in Miami. It's Skip Walther, his brother, old Skipster here, George III, is racing a Thunderboat during a trial run. This is the unlimited class. Okay. He's going 150 miles an hour like a psychopath. He is a replacement driver, or whatever you would call a boat person. Replacement
scab
captain. I don't know what the fuck you'd call him. He's a replacement
scurvy knave. I don't know.
He's a replacement Skip for team owner Jim McCormick, who during the qualifying was thrown from the boat and injured severely. So he needed 300 stitches to his legs for lacerations.
I'll drive. Fuck it.
I'll get right on in there. This seems safe, right? Unreal. So Walther was, I guess you'd say, boating. Like I said, driving. He's boating at 140 to 150 miles an hour. Picture this insanity. That's insane on the water. Holy shit!
I want nothing to do with that.
You don't have tires.
I've done 40 across the lake,
scary.
and I was so scared.
It's so scary. Yeah. Well, in a car, you have tires, and I don't want to go 150 miles an hour in a car, and it's meant to do that. Yeah. As you go, the gravity makes you stick to the ground more, and it all works out. Right. This is against nature and God and science. and any other thing that's possible.
There's just too many variables.
You're not on you're not on anything. No. You're just floating, barely
Gravity is pulling you to the water.
You go, nope.
And your motor is pushing you the fuck out of it.
Fuck you, gravity. No, I don't think so. I'm good. So he's driving this when all of a sudden his boat, this is from a referee that saw it, his boat dips to the right and then started bouncing back to the left and right before spinning and rolling into the infield, which is the part of the water they don't use, like the middle of the track in racing. And it was called, quote, a sudden failure of the rudder attachment structure.
Oh, Jesus.
Which I don't know what the fuck that is, but I tried hard to find out why this happened.
I'm guessing it's under the boat.
That's what I came up with. I got deep into like a boat racing message board about trying to figure out what that was. I don't fucking know. But
I don't want in there.
Patreon.com/crime and sports for my troubles here,
talent.
please. So anyway, Skip is rushed to Jackson Memorial Hospital, obviously. His wife, Sandy, was in attendance and watched this, which is insane that your wife had to see this. So she goes with him to the hospital where he has skull fractures, lacerations, and a severed right arm.
Oh, my, what? He lost his arm?
Arm gone, skull fractures, and he's cut to shit.
Holy fuck.
Don't race boats at 150 miles an hour, please.
So now both boys have been in accidents.
Well, he's pronounced dead at the hospital.
Oh, shit.
Skip's dead. George III is no more at this point. So, yeah, he's dead at the hospital. I mean, he had a severed right arm, skull fractured, bleeding out. His brain was turned to pudding. We got a mess here. It's a fucking disaster.
That's a bad omen. He shouldn't have been driving that dude's boat.
That's the other thing. Yeah, that guy crashed. He's like, you want to get in this monstrosity that almost killed me? Here, hop in. Yeah, sure, no problem.
Somebody doesn't want that boat to survive.
No, somebody doesn't want this family something to survive here. Now, on his brother's death, we have an in their own words here. He says, on his brother's death, in their own words, quote, at least he died doing what he wanted to do. That's not the response I would give.
What, losing his arm? That's what he wanted to do? That's what he died doing.
Yeah, he really wanted it. He wanted less skull. He thought his skull was really whole. It was rigid. He wanted his brain to be able to do what it wanted.
If he didn't die fucking, he didn't die doing what he wanted to do.
No. So back into this, back into in their own words. There are a lot of other drivers who have been hurt pretty bad. If you're a race car driver, you know you can get hurt. You have to accept that. I have no death wish. It's like, you're one of these people.
Yes,
you almost died. You were on fire. Are you kidding me?
God, you're a fucking idiot. He died doing what he wanted to do.
Died doing what he wanted to do.
No, he didn't.
Like, okay.
He died racing. He wanted to win. He didn't die winning.
I don't think he wanted
to fucking idiot.
End up with his arm floating.
He died fucking chumming his arm, you idiot. Yeah. That's what he died doing.
So you'd think this would make the family pretty... He died being chummed.
He died rolling a boat.
It flipped and rolled, and he was thrown.
That's how he died.
It's terrible.
He didn't die.
Awful.
What an asshole.
And so you would think this would maybe turn the family off to boat racing. Right. You know what I mean? Like, they just saw their... Nope. That year, same summer, same goddamn season... at the Dayton Hydroglow boat races, which is an unlimited class race, Salt races Salt gets in a boat because he races on his dad's boat. His dad's still putting boats out and saying, "I want to get another one of my kids in there.
Yeah,
let's see if we can kill this one."
Jesus God, why are they doing this?
They're like, well, we know he's pretty, he's a fire retardant. Pretty good. He didn't die from that, so why not? Let's give him a shot. He comes in third in the race.
Well, that's good. Good for him.
So, I mean, he's just a psychopath, basically.
Yeah, he's just stupid.
No thought to, I don't want to get, further injured. Doesn't care. Doesn't matter. Now, 1975 Indy 500, he's right back in there. He starts the race in the 9th position, which is a good start, and has mechanical trouble. He has a lot of mechanical troubles in the early years. Number 72, he finished dead last. Mechanical troubles. There's mechanical troubles, and his car is sidelined after 2 laps.
Okay,
2 laps in, he's got problems. Okay,
that's brutal.
And we're going to get to why that is. Yeah. Why he keeps having mechanical problems. And he goes, oh man, he's got a tirade.
Really?
It's like J.R. Ryder's tirade about that's why I came to this motherfucker. It's that. It's that tirade.
Everybody laughing while we're losing.
Except in a 70s race car version of it. Yeah. It's amazing with no cursing because he's on television. Now, 1975, he also starts racing NASCAR. He's like, that's not enough. I do 2 dangerous things. I need to add a 3rd.
Everything that is competitive racing, I'm doing it.
I'm doing it pretty much. He's not that great at
At NASCAR?
At NASCAR, by the way. He has 4 NASCAR races, and one of them he pretty much almost kills half the field making a stupid move. We'll talk about
NASCAR's not back then, too, because that's when it was starting.
Yeah.
I mean, it started long before.
But
it was just getting big. Right.
Notoriety.
Richard Petty was racing. All that shit was going on. That's an acquired, like, you got to really learn that one. That's a tough one. That's a really hard one to do. And the guys that were starting then were the fucking guys that were just coming out of the moonshining stuff. Or, you know what I mean? Like those are the runners. Like those people know what the fuck
kids
they're doing.
The runners,
right?
Of thing. Right. Yeah, I feel like their parents gave them a race team, like Walther did here.
They all ran cars that ran on the shit. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And this fucking idiot coming off a boat, and he's going to fucking just compete.
Open wheel shit.
He's going to compete with Richard Petty.
Boat killed my brother.
Right.
IndyCar pretty much almost killed me. Right. Let's see what these NASCAR cars
I'm missing
can do.
fingers. I'm going against Richard Petty. Let's
do
go.
This. Yeah, well, let's rock it out. So 1976, the Indy 500, it's May 30th, 1976. Salt finishes 9th in that race, which is a great finish.
That's awesome.
That's great. It's his best Indy finish ever. Mm-hmm. So that tells you that it didn't the success.
That's his career.
That's his career right there. Now, 1977 at the Daytona 500 doing NASCAR is when Salt veers in front of the leader and sends them both into a wall, causing a massive accident.
Wow.
And fucking up tons of cars.
He's lucky that wasn't Tony Stewart. Tony would get out of the car and beat the shit out of him, or just run him over.
I think this guy was severely injured, so I don't think he could get out and beat the shit out of him. I think he was driven into a wall at 200 miles an hour and was not in good shape. No. So that's the thing there. This is Salt's last NASCAR race.
Well, I would hope so.
I feel like they sat him down and said, "Look, buddy, okay." You have Indy street cred, like Indy racing street cred. You almost burned to death. Yeah, we'll give you that one. You've been in 4 races and you've almost killed everyone involved in the sport already. Stop.
I see him doing it the way Piazza was talking to people. Do me a favor, buddy.
Do me a favor.
Do me a favor.
Hey, listen to me, man.
Listen, do me a favor. No more driving.
Hey,
no more driving NASCAR.
No more
NASCAR.
What do you say there?
Do me a favor, buddy.
So anyway, 1972 through 1978.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about some of the mechanical things here because this is fucking funny and interesting. Okay. He was the driver for his father's best friend's race team. There's a guy named Jerry O'Connell. Okay. He's fun. That's not the fat kid from Stand By Me.
Okay.
I think it's the same name.
I just saw his face.
Different guy. He popped up looking all stupid.
He's hilarious.
In dumb shit romantic comedies now. Bastard. So starting in 72, they hire a mechanic named Tony Smith. Now, how often do you know about auto racing mechanics from the 70s individually? We don't know a lot.
No. That means something's coming up.
I had to find this one. This is right. Okay. So Smith had a reputation for having equipment failure in cars that he built or maintained. That was like a thing. That was his reputation, Smith. And he had a really, really hard time getting and keeping jobs in racing. Like nobody would hire him. When they did, they'd fire him quickly because he sucked at his job.
Okay.
Until O'Connell hired him and keeps him on from 72 on.
I wonder why.
Don't know. I don't know if he's a coke dealer or what.
Right.
Salt hated this guy. Hated his work, hated the cars, because we've seen 3 other Indy 500s where his car had mechanical failures. Yeah. And this is all this guy working on the car.
That's this dick.
So he hates him. Yeah, he hates this Smith guy. So Walther, in 1978, the Indy 500, he qualifies for the top 25 position in the race, which he's happy with. He runs 198 at qualifying, 198 miles an hour.
Jesus.
So he's flying. He loves the car.
Yeah.
Loves the car. Thinks it's perfect. 198. He loves it. Perfect. Great. They said, "Do you think you can win? You think you can win this race?" And he said, "This car can win this race.
This
basically.
one can. Yeah.
This is the one that can do it." He said it was just as good as Al Unser Sr.'s car. It was as good as the best car on the track. So the night before the race, the mechanic Tommy Smith decides to replace a gear in the car.
Why do you do that?
Out of the blue. That's what he didn't know.
What an asshole.
Now, by replacing this means that you don't get your pole position. You don't get your position that you earned in qualifying. So he has to start dead last at 33.
Oh, that's fucked up.
He got a phone call. Salt gets a phone call saying, "Hey, you're supposed to start in the top 25 tomorrow." Yeah, Tommy, we're going ahead and replaced a gear, so you're in last. And he was fucking livid.
I'd kill Tommy.
He was rip-roaring pissed. He's like, "I have almost burned to death for this. Do you understand? God damn it." So he's furious, but he still thought that it was the best car he'd ever driven and said that, you know what, I could still win the race.
I'll come from behind.
Yeah, whatever. I don't like the positioning, but whatever you're going to do.
Right.
So Salt starts running well in the race. He starts from last place, pushes his way up, from the back.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we're in lap 24. He's in 10th place. So he's gone from 33 to 10th.
That's great.
Terrific in the course of 24 laps. So he's aggressive, and his car, like we've said, is great, right?
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, the car slows down. What's going on? The car won't work.
Yeah.
The car slows down. Walther knew what it was. Salt knew it was a broken gear. Familiar, right?
Fucking Tommy, you dick.
So Salt is apparently I don't have it, or I didn't get to hear it, but apparently from what everybody said, the audio over, because they have race radios to their pit, apparently as he drove over to the crew in the garage area, he didn't say one non-expletive, apparently. He was just like, I'll kill everybody, fuck these motherfuckers. He was going crazy, like a lunatic in traffic, basically. He's losing his mind.
That's part of the charm of NASCAR, too, now, is that you can get headsets and you can tune to the different stations and listen to each driver. That's fascinating as fuck, too.
Kind of
you can hear him,
you
can hear him say some
when
pretty...
it's on TV, you see it, and they sometimes cut into people's feeds, and you're like,
Nextel
that's
headsets
cool.
or whatever.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
It's pretty fun.
That's like if you heard a coach in football calling in the play, you're like, okay, that's how they do it. It's interesting. So Walther, right after he goes and he puts the car in the garage, he gets interviewed on television right then.
Right now.
He's in a rage.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks like a wrestler cutting a promo on somebody like, you don't believe the son of a bitch. Like his eyes, his hair's crazy because he had the helmet on. Like he's like, son of a bitch, he's ready to
all
kill
disheveled.
somebody.
He's got black shit all over his face from racing.
It's a mess. And we have the longest in their own words ever. And it's basically one sentence. It's a tirade.
Awesome.
It is a tirade, top notch. And here we go. This is on Tommy Smith on television being interviewed before the cameras in their own words. Quote, I've always taken all the excuses and the blame for it, and I've covered for all my chief mechanics, but if anyone's for this shit, it's Tommy Smith. I ran 198 miles an hour for qualifying, one of the best times ever, and Tommy changes the gear the night before the race. Only an idiot would do that. And either he goes or I go to another team. Tommy should have been let go, but I'm not going to make any more excuses. Tommy isn't working on any of my cars anymore. He's gone after this race. I wouldn't call it a firing. I begged the guy. I begged him. I put up with him since 1972, and he won't listen. You don't make changes the night before a race. You just don't. I've talked with 6 top-level drivers, and they don't do it, but fucking Tommy does. End quote.
That's awesome.
That's on television.
That's great.
It's like, this son of a bitch bastard motherfucker. God damn, like he's just like,
fucking
can you believe
Tommy.
this fuck? Meanwhile, no one knows who Tommy Smith is.
Right.
And people are like, who's this Tommy Smith asshole sitting at home? Like, who the hell is this guy? He must be a real asshole.
That Tommy's a real dick.
So he gets to by the time Salt reaches the garage, Tommy has already left.
I would hope so.
He's literally already left the
whole
speedway.
Yeah,
he's gone. He's in his car
park.
driving home. Literally, the second that car slowed down, he said, "Okay, packing up.
gotta go.
Gotta go. All right, then. I think I'm fired." So
I think my wife's calling.
yeah, because they were all pissed at him before that, and it's like he knew if that gear fails, I'm fucked basically. So yeah, he knew. He also never had another job in racing.
That was it.
I wonder if that tirade probably put it in perspective.
He probably asked the crew chief, "What gear is he in?"
I just love
was that fourth gear?
Was that fourth gear? I just love
that
him.
sounded like fourth gear. I gotta go.
I've put up with this shit since 1972. He's like, I put up with it. I made goddamn excuses. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not. He's like, I had the car. I could have won. This fucking asshole.
Fuck Tommy.
And that, like, the frantic, like, that's the look on his face the whole time.
Awesome.
Like, can you believe this shit? To the reporter, like, I can't believe it. It's ridiculous. So 1979, because of this tirade, maybe made him popular, and also because of his fiery wreck, which is, if you look at look up top 10 NASCAR wrecks of all time, it's always top 5.
Really?
It's insane. I've never seen anything like it before.
Yeah.
He's a sprinkler of fire.
You mean
it's
Indy?
Insane. Indy, that's right. Yeah, Indy. So basically, he's a known entity in kind of the world here.
Yeah.
He's a pop culture icon, not an icon, but a pop culture figure, we'll say. So in 1979,
his name rings bells.
His name rings bells. People know, like, that's the guy who was on fire, right? Yeah, okay, I got it.
That's a fire sprinkler fellow?
I know him.
Yeah.
Spraying fire? Okay, I got it. It's a guy who yelled at that poor mechanic in front of the whole world? Okay, I get that guy.
Yeah, sullied Tommy's name forever.
Tommy
and
Smith
nobody knew anything about him.
I picture Tommy Smith just left quietly the motorway and drove to the nearest Jiffy Lube and put in an application. Like, I'm just going to change
He
oil.
ran over to that Kmart and was like, listen, I heard you guys do front end alignments.
He was like, actually, I don't really want to get that involved with the No mechanics.
Yeah.
I'm just going to change oil.
I'm not doing any transmission work. No gears are being changed.
Don't mention a gear to me. This guy's clutches. No. I don't want to know about it.
Front end alignment. I do them. $6. Let's go.
$6. Stack them up. So 1979, he gets a couple of TV gigs.
Oh.
A couple acting gigs, actually. Yeah. 1979, he appears in an episode of the Dukes of Hazzard, which is perfect for a NASCAR guy. It's an episode of Dukes of Hazzard called Road Pirates. He played, quote, truck driver. That's his character.
Good call.
The plot of this particular episode, in case you're interested and want to go check out this Dukes of Hazzard, it's Boss Hogg has $10,000 in stolen television sets to sell on the black market. Oh. But the truck is hijacked while en route to Hazzard. Bo, Luke, and Cletus are wanted in connection with the hijacking and are left to investigate Boss's latest scheme while trying to clear their names.
Fantastic.
That is good television,
you betcha.
people. I'll tell you
That's
right now.
That's a hell of a writing job.
That's a hell of a writing job.
And then Boss Hogg is tasked with the chore of cutting off the driver's hands or
and
fingers.
Then he's got to cut off the driver's fingers. So I feel like he was the truck driver that lost the load.
Yeah.
I think he took it. I'm just saying.
He got out of the truck and was like, it was Tommy Smith. Tommy Smith took everything.
Now, they just blame this on the Duke boys and Cletus, by the way. There's a hijacking, not even in Hazzard, en route to Hazzard, and must have been them Duke boys. Everything that happens, you can't just blame it on the Duke boys. That's not the way you solve your town's problems. Also, too, I feel like if the Duke boys had a lawyer... Right. The whole show wouldn't exist.
No.
The whole show is them being railroaded for shit they didn't do.
They would sue Hazzard County, and it would be Duke County.
They would sue him. There'd be a big press expose on Boss Hogg's corruption and Sheriff P. Coltrane's fuckery. And
the lawyer would be like, listen, before we go to trial... Let's get a fresh coat of paint on the roof of that car. What do you say we get some orange over that?
Guys.
Because they're going to just railroad us with being racist.
The optics. The optics are bad.
It looks bad.
It's not great.
Listen, we get it's down in the heart of Dixie. We understand. We understand. Your car whistles Dixie when you hit the horn. We get it.
You're real Southern.
Just blow some orange over that fucking flag, would you?
They needed one lawyer. That's it. One lawyer. The whole town, the whole show would have been different.
Done.
They would have been like, oh, fuck, we can't bust the Duke boys.
We will sue that fat white man in the fucking big white hat. And
that's right.
It'll be Duke County.
It'll be Duke County.
No more Hazzard.
He just got Irv Goldberg to represent him. We're fucked. We're fucked. We can't compete with that. We can't do it.
Good.
That's what they need, a one Jewish guy.
That's brilliant.
In Hazzard County.
You just ruined the whole show forever now.
Well, good. Now we know. That's what happens.
Just so you guys know now.
This is what I did.
If you watch that show, just know that the plot is fucking stupid.
It's fucking stupid because there's no... And you think the Dukes would be like, I am tired of being harassed constantly. Where's the phone book? I'm going to find an attorney. Yeah. Uncle Jesse, can I borrow a few bucks? And let's do this. Yeah. I think Daisy was a bartender. She had some cash to throw at the guy. Help us out. God
Listen,
damn it.
She was in short shorts. I don't think the lawyer would take much more than that. He just make her give me a lap dance. I'll defend you. We'll own this fucking county.
Perfect. Yeah. Have her come over in her Jeep.
Perfect. That show.
Or in her short shorts with pantyhose. Yeah. That's what she wore. It's so weird.
Constantly. Her ass cheeks hanging out.
Yeah.
And they're like,
totally.
This is sexism at its finest. Beautiful.
At its finest. Let me tell you something.
That's just at its fucking core. That's it right there.
It's a Southern girl in a Jeep with her short shorts.
And then Jessica Simpson recreates it fucking 30 years later.
Yeah.
And nobody said shit. What are you doing? You're setting us back 30 years.
And in half the episodes, she's being hardcore sexually harassed at the bar.
It's
half
terrible.
The episodes start with this guy tried to rape Daisy, and then the Duke boys got involved, and now they're running from the law for some reason.
The Duke boys defended her honor and bashed him in the head with fucking beer fucking glasses.
I've seen that so many times.
And they want to arrest them for hitting the guy. It's what the fuck?
You want to know how stupid I am? When I was we'll get off the Duke boys in a minute here, but when I was a child, I loved the Dukes of Hazzard. When I was 4 years old.
That car was fucking kick-ass.
Oh, it was amazing. I loved it. I loved the wheels on it, the whole deal.
The Charger was it's an amazing car.
I loved the shot that they do in the opening where it was like a side thing and the wheels are spinning in the dirt. I was like, that's so cool. So it was the coolest shit. I, as a child, did not realize that they were hillbillies. No clue. No clue.
The jeans and fucking jean jackets and boots didn't give it away.
I just thought, shit, they're cool guys.
They didn't
cool
open the doors,
Doesn't
bro.
Doesn't matter. Their uncle was a moonshiner.
They
literally
slid across the hood.
Their uncle was a moonshiner.
Refined people don't slide their ass across the hood of their car.
They had a Confederate flag and Dixie coming out every time they jumped. Me, never noticed. And then when they came and did re-syndication when I was a teenager and they came, I was like, holy shit, the Dukes of Hazzard. And I was like, They're fucking hillbillies, these people. Good Lord. This is ridiculous, man. What happened?
It's the fucking NASCAR fans' favorite show.
I was mad at my mother for, like, why'd you let me watch this? What the fuck is going on here?
And they were cousins of Daisy, and wasn't there some...
I don't remember any Daisy fucking, because Daisy
There's
would
some
have like
undertones
a
of
boyfriend
sexual shit, though,
well,
wasn't there?
I feel like they were like, hey, there's no other girls around. Daisy's looking pretty good in them short shorts.
There's one girl in town.
I don't know. It's either her or Cletus. So her or Enos. I'm not sure.
There's some weird sexual undertone. That's weird.
Say so. Now, don't leave it at the Dukes of Hazzard. That's not enough for him. He needs more. He needs to be a celebrity. In 1979, same year, he appears in a 2-part episode of The Rockford Files.
Oh, what?
The Rockford Files.
That's an interesting fucking transition.
The Rockford Files episode titled "Never Send a Boy King to Do a Man's Job," and he played a man named Vern in that.
Right.
Rockford Files was Garner, right? James Garner.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he actually was on a show with James Garner.
Garner's the shit too.
James Garner rules. Yeah, he does.
He's got some really codgery fucking views nowadays. He's kind of an angry old pissed off man.
Never mind that, but in movies he's
still
great.
alive, right?
I don't know.
I think he is.
Was he the one who I know Sam Elliott replaced him as the beef guy? Right? In the early 90s, it was like he was the beef guy. Yeah, beef. It's what's for dinner.
Right.
And then it came in Sam Elliott.
Oh, he's still alive.
Beef. Okay.
He's oldish. God, he looks like shit.
Well, he's got to be 85 years old, right? I would think 80 years old. How old is he?
He was born in 1928. That man is almost 90 years old.
Wow. God damn.
Yeah.
That's fucking old.
You want to know what's awesome about it? His Wikipedia page says birth date 1928.
No date. Like we didn't
even know.
We didn't do months back then.
No, it doesn't. Okay. It says April 7th. All right.
We didn't do months till after the Depression. Then we invented months after that. Before that, we just said year.
What? All right. I'm an asshole. Died in 2014. So
all
rest
right,
in
so
peace, you country old fuck.
Yeah, all right. So we can't really fault him for his views.
He's 3 years
moment.
dead now. I had a feeling he was dead. That's weird.
Rest in peace, Rockford.
He was angry. He was an angry fucking old man. He had so many angry views, and it was getting awesome. Now.
I remember hearing about him. Yeah, because it was like an angry old man just complaining, which can be very funny, bitching. Honestly. Yeah. I like hearing angry old men.
He was bitching because he knew he was about to die.
Yeah, it's like he wasn't in power or anything, so none of it meant anything. Who cares? No one's listening to James Garner. Hey, did you hear what Garner said about the...
You mean Maverick?
You mean Maverick?
Maverick's got some fucking weird views. Surprise, surprise.
The Fed's raising interest rates. Do you hear what Mavericks had to say about it? No.
So awesome.
So 1980 here, his TV run is over, apparently. 1980, he tries to qualify for the Indy 500 and does not qualify. Oh. And that's his last attempt to qualify till 1990. Oh. Which is getting up there in age, too. Yeah. The 80s are a colorful time for him, basically. Okay. The 80s are him using his name and celebrity and family money to be a complete playboy, drug addict, fuckabout, basically, is the best way to put it.
Getting him some Dilaudid.
He's getting, he moves on from Dilaudid.
Really?
It's not just Dilaudid.
That's what started it.
It started with Dilaudid. By the 80s, he's coke, he's crack, he's heroin, literally anything he can get his hands on, he will snort, smoke, or jam into his veins.
Anything that makes him feel better.
Give a shit.
And forget he was on fire.
Absolutely. Yeah, maybe that's to forget that moment.
Yeah.
But he does this, and he's also going through women like crazy.
Really?
Like, he's just living the life. Basically, he was like whatever you would think of like a playboy 20-year-old kid, moving somewhere using his dad's money. Yeah. That's what he's doing. Except he's also a celebrity, so it's even easier for him.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. He's just spending the 80s partying and being a complete fuckhead. In 1987, he's arrested for check fraud in Ohio.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he got probation for this. But
Isn't that a felony?
I don't believe it is. I don't know. Probably the amount is probably a thing, too. I don't know what the amount was for. This was a very sketchy record of this I could find. But I do know he got probation for it. It was
May have been
Ohio.
A first offense, too.
I believe he's never been arrested before. Okay. He's never had any problems.
So that's what it is.
I mean, he might have something that got brushed under the rug or whatever, but he's not had any problems with the law, nothing publicized, nothing on the record. So
And check fraud, too, could have just been like Because it sounds,
yeah.
I mean, it's vague. It could have been like he wrote a wrong date or some shit. You know what I mean?
He could have wrote a check and it didn't have something in an account because he's on coke and heroin and Dilaudid.
Could have been some expired check from an account that didn't exist.
You never know.
Right.
Who knows? So it's first time. He's never been in trouble. You give him the benefit of the doubt on
but
that.
It's a start.
But it's a start. It's a start. And later on in the year in 87, he's arrested for drugs. And he has apparently shitloads of painkillers that he shouldn't have.
Awesome.
And possibly some cocaine also.
Awesome.
He's arrested for that in 87. So now he's been arrested twice in a year.
Now we got a criminal.
Hasn't raced in a while.
Right.
He tried to race some kart races in like the 80s or something like that. But
that's the worst.
NASCAR, he was banned from, not banned, but he was, I mean, they were like, this guy fucking going to kill half the field.
Here's the thing, though. And we may have a listener or two that does kart racing.
Yeah.
They're fucking weirdos. My sister dated one, and he was like a construction worker, and then he did that shit on the side.
Weird.
He spent his whole fucking day building shit, and then he would go home and prepare to race these bullshit karts. And
are they expensive, the karts?
Holy fuck, are they expensive?
Because I know someone that owned like a drag racing team.
Yeah.
Rod Beck was a great friend of mine, the old pitcher for the Cubs, Giants, Red Sox, Padres. And he owned a drag racing team.
Shit is expensive.
And he was saying how it was basically just
it's a money pit.
It was just hundreds of thousands of dollars flying out the window all the way. He said he had to get rid of it because it was like, I can't afford it. It's just constant. That too. And his brother-in-law was robbing him blind, and he sued him later on for it. He was stealing parts and selling them. And then saying we need more parts, basically.
Wow.
So Rod was like, "Oh, they need parts. I'll write the check. What do I know? I gotta get it right."
That's horrible.
And so that's nice, but that's beside the point anyway. We'll get
the point is, kart racing is expensive.
Car racing's expensive. He tries to do that. He's arrested for drugs. He's writing bad checks. Mm-hmm. Shit's starting to get a little less. Yeah, he's a little less of like just this famous guy who was like, oh, the poor guy got burned up. Now they're like, that was 15 years ago. Stop writing bad checks, asshole.
Get your life together, you fuck.
Absolutely. So his drug use is apparently very well known in the 80s too. It's bad.
Oh, no.
It's not like something he can hide. It's like, wow, salt is on everything. He's fucking everybody.
Salt's on sugar.
Yeah. So I picture every time that you see him, he's got like sunglasses on and his hair's fucked up, and he's like, I don't know, I've been up for 3 days. Yeah, been up for 3 days. He's got like crusts of food on his cheek, something like that. What is that? I had an Egg McMuffin yesterday, and he walks away. Yesterday. Holy shit. Salt's in bad shape. Yeah. Have you seen that?
That's awesome.
May 1990, there's a fluff piece on him.
Oh,
because you gotta have a fluff piece. Yeah. Anybody who does anything bad, someone's going to be it's almost like taking bets. Like someone's going to be the guy go, sure, I'll fucking take 20 on the over. What do I care? Sure, I'll take 20 on he'll be fine. On he's good now.
Right.
So this fluff piece is called, quote, Years of Pain Can't Kill Walther's Desire.
Did they forget to interview him for this and get him in front of them?
They interviewed the shit
out
of him.
How do you write something nice about somebody that's just a fucking disaster?
He's trying to get back into racing. He's planning on racing in the Indy 500 later on this month, and that's what this is about.
So you're saying this guy got paid to write this shit?
This is to smooth over, and this is one of those where they interview him in a restaurant, and every time all of these fluff pieces take place in a fucking restaurant.
They got to buy him a nice meal.
Everyone, they go out. That way they can know. But you know what it is? I figured it out reading this. Because every single one of these, where there's an article where this, some shithead athlete and it's a fluff piece and they take him out, every single one of them has to show how he interacts with the waiter, and how he interacts with a lady at a table who recognized him or something
so polite.
Like that. Yes, but now he's humble, and the waiter talked to me. He had great banter with the waiter.
Yeah.
This was the story where I said the waiter was like, I didn't know you lost your fingers, because he knew the guy. The waiter knew who he was. He's like, I didn't know you lost your fingers. And he was like, yeah. He's like, how did you drive? And he's like, I can still grip the steering wheel. And the doctors did that. And he held on to his wrist. So he was going over this in the article.
Watch me pick up the waffle with my hand.
Yeah, watch me. So watch me with my talon over here. So, yeah, that's basically what it is. He's claiming to be drug-free. He says he's never been better in his life.
Yeah.
He hasn't been this happy in 10 years. Life is amazing for this guy. And he says on his lifestyle, we have an in their own words, he says on his lifestyle that he's been living in the 80s, in their own words, quote, I knew what I was taking. I got into everything. I didn't realize I was abusing it, but I was going downhill fast and nobody would tell me. Well, yeah, because you were moving too fast. You're going by 190 miles an hour. Like, fuck it, I guess.
And you're throwing out everybody that would tell you.
That's the other thing. I can't imagine he's keeping voices of reason around when you're in this type of situation. You
should have probably had a conversation with Tommy. I'll bet Tommy would have told you that you're a fucking nutcase.
He said, listen, asshole. Hey, calm down.
I replaced the gear for you, trying to help you out. Calm down.
And you berated me on national television. I wasn't even there. I was in my car halfway home. I was in the Wendy's drive-thru, and I hear this shit on the radio. Like, what the hell? So 1990, he again tries to race in the Indy, but he's replaced as he ends up being a first alternate driver. I don't know how that ended up happening. I guess because he was new. They were like, yeah, we'll get him back on the team. He hasn't been around in a while, but you'll be first alternate. In other words, you're not driving.
So he doesn't have a seat is what it is.
Yeah, feel good about it. You can put a jacket on and look like you're part of the team.
There you go.
That's what it is, basically.
Put on that fluffy bomber.
Yep, cover up those nubs. So,
put the nubs in the pockets.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, nub it up, kid. Yeah. So September of 1990, after that race, that race is in May, he's arrested for driving while intoxicated in Indiana.
Oh, shit.
So not great here. Now this is when he starts to stack up. He's on probation for one thing, and then there's another thing, and then that.
He's in the system.
He's in the system now, yes. It's funny to see an older white guy from a wealthy family who's in the system now. It's like, dude, you are the guy who can avoid the system. You're the guy. Like, you can completely never had to go near that system, you fucking idiot.
Your parents were fucking in oil. You could have done anything.
Anything you wanted. Fucking in oil while money spewed from your mother's ass. Come on, what are you doing
They're
here?
fucking next to a steel smelter. You're fine.
Now, he's also arrested at some point in 1991 for reckless driving in Hendricks County, Indiana.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, he's a mess for this whole deal. He receives, on April 30th, 1991, he receives a 60-day suspended jail sentence for the reckless driving, and I suppose that's the DUI wrapped into that as well. But he's on probation, so I think maybe he got it for. It was very sketchy. The court records from Indiana in 1991 are really not what I'd like them to be. Not what I'd like them to be. I'm not thrilled with them.
Get your fucking organization together, Indiana.
Come on, Indiana, get your shit together. Now we get to May 1991, and this is some serious fuckery here.
What state is this?
This is at the Indianapolis 500. Okay. He tries to again be in the Indianapolis 500 in 91. This is his last attempt at it, and he does not qualify. Okay. He tried, though. So this is his last attempt, but he's still hanging around Indy and doing all this shit. He steals a golf cart from the Indianapolis Speedway.
Oh, my God. He took the security cart.
He took not a security cart. It's worse. It's a 1984 Yamaha golf cart.
Oh, shit.
That was not easy to find, by the way. The owner of the cart, I have so much details on this goddamn golf cart. The owner of the cart, Jeffrey Kaiser, kept the cart in the garage and leased his garage to Walther's team. Okay. So it was like some of his shit was in the garage too, but he leased it. When Kaiser went to retrieve the cart at the end of the week, he noticed that the locks had been changed on his garage. So he's like, what the fuck's up with that?
Shit.
I want to get my golf cart out of here.
Walther's just owning everything.
Yeah, he's like, what's going on? Yeah. So they start like an investigation of where the hell's the golf cart? Because once they get in, they find there's no golf cart. Right. Like, where the fuck's the golf cart? This is like so deep for a golf cart that like the investigation into this by the police, they were like really interested in where the fuck this golf cart is. An acquaintance of Walther's, a woman named Betty Lessig, tells investigators that it was her and Salt took the golf cart from the garage. Okay. She's like, yeah, Salt took it. She said, hop on, and we drove away, and he ended up taking it. I don't know. And she said, I thought it would belong to him. It came out of the garage that all of his shit was in, and he said, hop on. I said, sure. And what would you think, right?
This sounds like the plot to a Dukes of Hazzard episode.
It is, and then he jumped a ravine with the Indianapolis police force behind him, and
so awesome.
He just
where's the golf cart? It was definitely the Duke boys.
It was definitely the damn Duke boys. It's got a Confederate flag on the canvas roof of it. Salt ends up selling the golf cart for $1,000.
That's steep.
So, well, it's a nice golf cart, I think.
I guess.
$1,000. Golf carts are expensive. Yeah, it was like a 7-year-old golf cart.
Probably a gas-powered one.
So he sells it for $1,000. How desperate is he for money? Where he's stealing? I mean, good God, that's where you work. He's stealing from where he wants to work, basically.
He's stealing from something that's leased to him. There's a trail back to him.
Know who could have gotten in this garage? Oh, the guy who has the key, who I leased it to. Yeah, he might have been the one to steal it. And so that's what I mean. His forethought here is not great.
The guy that has the keys to the locks that he put on.
Yes, exactly. That's the guy who took the cart.
That's your guy.
But eventually the cart was recovered and returned to Kaiser.
Wow.
So he ended up getting his golf cart back somehow.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah. So on March 25th, 1992, the next year, Salt is arrested for the theft of the golf cart in 1991. This is as he shows up in Hendricks County because he's on probation for the reckless driving, DUI, all that that shit. He shows up for his probation appointment. This is once they get in. It's like, you show up for this, they arrest you, there's another charge, and it stacks. It's fucking scary, man. It's very scary. This guy should have the wherewithal to not do this, though. Yeah. Once again, wealthy family, every opportunity in the world. You're a fuck up.
In his 40s. You should know.
Yeah, he's 45 years old at this point.
Crazy.
Get your head out of your ass.
Yeah.
You know? So anyway, he shows up for his probation appointment in Hendricks County, Indiana, and he's arrested for the theft right there. They take him to the county jail, Marion County Jail. Take a hike, asshole. So it's unreal. He's scheduled to appear on April 15th of 1992, which is 20 days later for the theft. That's scheduled to happen there. But on June 23rd, Walther is arrested again. This is when he's arrested in Dayton on a warrant for failing to appear at a probation hearing in Indiana on July 2nd. So he shows up and they arrest him for something. He doesn't show up, and now he's arrested for this. And he is just I picture him just on a spider web now, like trying to struggle. You know, in quicksand. And they're like, don't struggle. You know, and they put a branch in. Like, he's the one kicking and stop kicking. You're making it worse.
Move.
Stop, goddamn.
You're down to your shoulders already.
I got a stick. Just wait for it. Fucking idiot. So, this was a hearing to see if his probation should be revoked for the theft of the golf cart.
Oh, shit.
So this was a hearing.
This is a big deal.
He not only needed to show up to this, he needed to put on a good showing, too, and seem like he had his shit together and not be a fuck-up for this 1 minute.
He needed to show up and have a good story.
And have something good. Yeah, exactly.
Meanwhile, he has none of it because he didn't show up.
And even with the golf cart, he could have said, like, oh, I stole it. I forgot it was his. I thought it was a guy on my crew. But they sold it for $1,000, which ruins that. That totally ruins that. So, like I said, hearing is to see if probation should even stick with this idiot. He's facing theft charges for the golf cart and failure to pay fees from the charge in Indiana, the court supervisory fees. It's just all stacking up. He must turn himself into Indiana authorities and face a hearing and post a $40,000 bond to get out from under this. So, yeah, it's not going great here for him. And this is 92.
That sounds that would be the worst problem of my life if I had that going on. And that's just minor.
This is tip of the iceberg for this guy. He's still got...
That's still misdemeanor and civil shit. That's not even fucking... You're not even in big trouble.
And I'm going to go ahead and say the 1990 fluff piece where he says he's clean and sober and doing great, never been happier. I'm going to go ahead and say he's full of shit now for that. What do you think? Is it safe?
I'm going to go ahead and say that the author and journalist is a fucking idiot for believing it.
Absolutely. Yeah, they want the fluff piece. Yeah. It's like I said, they're taking a chance. They're like, well, I could do a fluff piece and then look like an asshole later.
They look nice writing it, too.
And nobody looks 2 years ago on who wrote a fluff piece on this guy. I'm the only asshole doing that. No one else is doing that. No one cares. Just us.
Who was being nice to these dicks?
Yeah, who's the idiot being nice to this dick? Was it Skip Bayless? I'll find him and hunt his ass down. I swear to Christ. Oh my God, I love seeing his ratings for his show are in the fucking toilet. I think we have more fucking listeners than he does at this point.
I will go ahead and credit you with his numbers dipping.
We're taking him down. Wouldn't that be great if we could actually?
That would be amazing.
Take him down, but
I want power like that.
Literally. He had a show that was rated so low in a day that we have more listens in a week than he had on television on a Fox Sports channel in a day. So
where people love sports, they'll listen to anybody talk sports.
Fuck you,
except
Skip
him.
Yes, you frosty-haired douche, as we like to call you. Go fuck yourself. So, 1998. He must serve. He's wanted for a while for failure to pay child support.
Oh my God! Now he's a deadbeat dad.
Oh yeah. No, this is for a while too. He's built up $8,500 in child support that he needs to do. He in 1998 he's arrested for it finally for failure to pay. This is another thing too. He's not a guy who'll readily turn himself in. No. You got to find him. Yeah. You really got to make it work. He's got to want it.
You're gonna have to boss hog the shit out of him.
Yeah. You're gonna have to chase him as he jumps.
Bird dog him. Fuck
absolutely. So. He must serve 4 months in jail for this. So now it's his first. This is jail time now. Now he's got to go to jail in 98. First time, 4 months for the 85. And I assume he still has to pay the $8,500.
I would hope so.
I don't think they wipe it clean.
No, that doesn't go away.
That doesn't put food in your kid's mouth. The fact that you sat in jail.
Here's how much they hunt that shit down. My sister, who I was just talking about, dated the fucking cart douche. She inherited a bunch of money from her aunt, her dad's sister. Mm-hmm. and a house, and she gave the house to her dad to put it in his name. He owed back child support for other children, and the state took the fucking house.
Wow.
And then sold it, and then gave that cash to his ex-wife.
Well,
that's how much they will hunt
Holy
you down.
shit.
Pay your fucking child support, you idiots.
Just pay.
Give a shit about your kids.
Yeah, that, and also stay out of fucking jail. Even if you don't care about your kids, self-preservation has to mean something to you.
Stay away from Boss Hogg.
Fuck's sake, yeah. Roscoe P. Coltrane will chase you. You can jump the ravine, and he'll just watch and go, oh, you, them Duke boys. But he's going to jump. He's going to follow you. He can't jump. He's got the basset hound in the front seat. It would flop all over the place.
Poor guy.
So anyway, May 1998. Jesus Christ, what a fuck up here. May 1998, he is in jail for he's serving his 4 months for failure to pay child support. But they do a smart thing because if you're in jail, obviously you can't make any money to pay any child support because you're not making shit there. So he's on a work release program from jail where he goes out during the day, he works, and he comes home at night and on the weekends, and he sits in jail. It's like a halfway house, but it's the jail.
Work for a little.
Exactly. Right. Thank God fucking Otis Nixon has nothing to do with this, or he'd be robbing his family blind.
Waving his dick at people.
Waving his dick. He'd have George Walther the second there, though, his dad just paying out of the nose. Like, I can get him in a halfway house. I'll get him paroled. Don't you worry. I know the governor.
Right.
And the head of the prison. Unreal.
I know Whitney Houston.
Yeah, I know Whitney. Don't you know Whitney Houston? So Salt is on the work release program. He comes home back to jail in May one night, and like he's been doing every night. And apparently I don't know what he's thinking because I assume they search you when you come in.
I would hope so.
And if they didn't, they decided to on this day because they catch him trying to sneak 3 Tylenol 3 pills in. That's their codeine.
Yeah.
That's codeine, trying to sneak Tylenol 3 pills into the Warren County Jail.
3 of them? That'll get you through the night, huh?
Probably. I mean, he's going to go, he's probably going to go in, take them, and fucking try to take it.
An addict. I'm shocked that 3 get an addict through the night.
Yeah.
1 fucking
maybe
ruins
he had
me.
10 in his system already. Who knows what he was doing. But
I've gotten them for fucking dental work, and they are amazing things, too.
Yeah. So he tries to sneak the pills into the jail in his glove, in his black glove that he wore over his deformed hand. That's what I thought was great. He's like, I'm going to use this to my advantage. That's like a guy trying to sneak shit in his wheelchair, basically. Like, I'll just put it under my wheelchair. They'll never search me. That's
just
what I feel like it is.
glue the bricks to the fucking bottom of my chair. They won't look there.
Unreal, man. So in August of 1998, a few months later, he pleads guilty to trying to smuggle the Tylenol 3 tablets into Warren County Jail.
Yeah.
Sentencing set for November, of course. Now, sentencing is in November. Do you think he's going to show up for this, Jimmy? What are the odds?
He's not showing
Blow
up.
on the dice and roll him. What do you think? Yeah. September 22nd, 1998. Salt fails to show up for sentencing, of course. Arrest warrant is issued. He's out jerking off somewhere. Unreal. So the arrest warrant is issued. Salt is finally, they track his ass down. And he ends up coming into court. And on September 25th, he comes in and... This is the best too. He tells the judge, "Said, why the hell were you on your? I don't know why I bother asking, but he's
right.
I would think as a judge, you just want to hear a creative excuse. Like, let's see what this asshole.
This will be fun.
Let's see how flagrantly he tries to lie to my face in a courtroom under oath. Let's just see.
With somebody typing the words that he's about to say.
He tells the judge that he did not show up on the 22nd because the fuel pump was broken in his 1989 Dodge truck. Tick, 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 tick.
Someone wrote that. Fuel pump.
Fuel pump. Now, if only Tommy Smith would have been there, I'm sure he could have fixed that up. But the judge looked at...
Fourth gear didn't work, sir.
Nope, sorry. I'm surprised he didn't blame Tommy Smith for this. My fuel pump. Now, there's this fucking guy, Tommy Smith. Now, I'm not going to tell... I want him gone. He's not working on any of my cars anymore. I'm going to put up with his bullshit since 72, and I'm not doing it anymore. Fuck that guy.
So good.
So the judge tells him, this is a Judge Fetters, tells him, quote, I don't believe that. No, you're full of shit, asshole. Don't think so. So, they took... Here's
the thing, too. With a lie, there's usually, like, way too much description, throwing the year, make, and model of the fucking pickup. Then that's when the judge is like, bullshit, let's move on.
Yeah, I think you could probably fix a fuel pump, race car guy.
The only thing you didn't throw in was the color of this fucking car.
Yeah, totally. Now, the judge took pity on Salt for his use of drugs. Salt in the court admitted that he's a mess on drugs at this point. He said that he takes the codeine, and he said, like, I take codeine. He said, I've had 100 surgeries, and I have pins all over my body. Yeah. He's like, I take codeine. It helps me. Yeah. But not apparently if you're an addict, you can't be taking codeine no matter how much you hurt. But the judge, and he also admits that this is funny because he did it for years, but he admits that he, quote, recently tried heroin.
Oh,
so like, I'm escalating. I'm out of control. Like, help me is basically
I recently
what he did.
tried it.
Yeah, it's almost like his lawyer said, throw yourself on the mercy of the court.
Yeah.
Say, I'm a fucking mess. I'm a drug addict. I need help. And maybe they'll help you, basically, which isn't a bad strategy for a drug addict, honestly, especially if you think it might work, if that judge is prone to that sort of thing. So he actually does. The judge sentences him to 6 months in drug rehab for the Tylenol 3,
That's a pretty
which
good
I
deal.
think is fair.
Yeah.
He needs the drug rehab, and also 3 years probation.
That's tough.
Let's make sure you don't fuck up more on top of this, and let's get some piss out of you every
So
once
I
a month.
need you to go to some people that are going to help you with this, but just to keep you in this shitty system that's fucking you over and over again because you can't get out of it. Here's 3 years longer.
The people I'm going to assign to you, they'll be the ones having you arrested soon. They'll be the next. That's the next group of people that'll be having arrest warrants issued for you. The judge told him, quote, Judge Fetter said, quote, it's still not too late to get your life in order. Which he's like 50 years old at this point.
Too late.
I go, dude, I was more like it's fucking too late to get your shit in order, dude. You're 50. You're still doing this?
It's too late for you to be behaving the way you're behaving.
That's
what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is. Stop acting like a jerk off, you moron. So anyway, he's on that, and he's got the probation for 3 years and 6 months in rehab, which he does the 6 months in rehab.
Good for him.
Good for him. In 2000, he's arrested for DUI, or DWI, actually.
It totally worked.
It's perfect. It worked really well. Yeah. DWI, because it was not alcohol, and also child endangerment after he's arrested for driving under the influence of drugs with his young daughter in the car.
Wow.
You fucking moron. So now he doesn't want to pay for his kid, and he's trying to kill them also. Right. So it's like, well, maybe if I kill her, I won't have to pay for her anymore, and I could stop getting arrested for lack of child support.
Wow.
Unfucking real, man. I don't even know how dumb are you? Don't do drugs and take your kids in the goddamn car.
I won't drive my kids when I take Dayquil. Fuck,
that's what I mean.
I'm not taking anything
because you're an intelligent, responsible, half decent parent.
I'd just rather not go to jail.
And you're a jerk off.
Yeah,
that's
I'm
what I mean.
a fucking asshole.
You're a fucking asshole.
I really am.
Good Lord, but you're a good dad, though. I will say
I
that.
care
All
about
jokes
him.
aside, you're a goddamn good dad. So that makes sense. He's not so great. This guy here. Of course, you've never been on fire, so maybe that changes a bit.
Well, I was.
Fire
for a second.
Fire
it was just for a second. I didn't have to have skin grafts, but
that's helpful.
I was on fire.
So May 19th, 2000, Lebanon, Ohio. Sounds like a horrible place.
Anywhere named Lebanon.
Not Ohio.
There's a Baghdad, Arizona.
There is.
That's
There's
terrible.
Yeah, that's where you went. It's in the middle of nowhere. It looks like Baghdad. It's like, I would never live here if you fucking paid me. So in Lebanon, Ohio, May 19th, 2000, Salt is sentenced to 180 days in jail for the child endangerment.
Good.
So they bang him pretty good for 5 months in jail or whatever. So
that's brutal, actually.
He needs that. Yeah, he
that's
needs
6 months in jail.
Oh, yeah, 6 months.
That's
5
crazy.
months. Yeah, 180, 6 months. Yeah, that's
I got you on math this week.
Wow.
Nice.
I slept for 45 minutes last night, so I'm
a mathlete this week.
You are. I bow. Hat off to your superior skills.
I threw an extra 30. All right, go on.
So, he's sentenced for 180 days for child endangerment. So he's stuck there. So now he's in jail.
Yep.
Again.
Yeah.
Again. And this started out like so good. He was 20 years ago, he's a playboy.
Yeah.
He's a rich playboy.
I see him in a white BMW convertible with like a fucking a white shirt that's like half unbuttoned and it's blowing in the wind.
Linen.
Yeah,
it's made of
it's
linen.
so linen.
Yeah, it's so fucking linen.
It's not even cotton.
Pants.
It's just a beautiful fucking shirt.
Yeah.
And some baggy khakis.
He goes from that. Now he's like in the Ohio like system.
In Dayton jail.
He's sitting in jail.
Some fucking county jail.
Oh, he's sitting in some drab, shitty Ohio fucking Hendricks County jail cell. And there's a knock at his cell. And he hears stuff rattle, and he comes in, and there's a poof of smoke, and it's Dexter Manley, interior decorator from New York City. And he says, how is it you come to be here? I mean, how come you arrive here? What's wrong with you? Look, this cell it's gross in here. It's gross. Look at you. Look at them fingers. He all burned. He's so burned. I don't like that. He's burned.
This county?
He's burned. Look at his finger. He's got half a finger. Don't touch me. Ew, gross. Spruce this place up a little bit. You know what I mean? We'll get some stuff in here. We can do something with I know your fingers are messed up. We'll do something.
He's going to queer eye for the straight guy.
We'll put your gloves. We'll do something with your gloves. We'll make it fancy. It'll be really good.
He's going to bedazzle the gloves.
We'll bedazzle them. Have you seen the ads on TV? Yes. Okay, we'll do that.
Oh, glitter does amazing things for leather.
We'll work it out, honey. It's no problem. We'll get you up. We'll get you back on your feet. It ain't no thing. And poof. puff of glitter, and he's gone.
Puff of glitter.
Gone. Salt's in his cell by himself again.
So good. I love Dexter Manley.
I like him, I like him too.
Fun.
He's fun. I like him a lot. He's my new buddy.
Yeah. We need a third mic for that guy.
Yeah, we do. We got to get him in here more often. Yeah, sorry. Thank you for coming in, Dexter Manley, interior decorator. Now there's an article about him. Not about him, actually. It's a Champ Car magazine. I don't know what the fuck that is, but Champ Car magazine does a list of like the worst drivers of all time, basically.
Did he make the list?
He fucking made the list, boy. They cited
of all time,
of course. Well, they cite his near-death fiery crash.
Yeah.
They cite his NASCAR fuck up. They cite him never finishing in the top 5 or winning a race ever. And they're like, he's terrible. No one stuck around for that long who was that terrible. Your dad has to own a race team, for Christ's sake, or have a best friend who owns one.
Right.
They said about him, quote, this is a great quote, this wealthy young man had some of the best cars available in the 1970s, but vanity and a horrid attitude kept him from ever reaching the podium. He's a dick.
And the lack of fingers.
Yeah, this man, I give him credit for even getting in the car with that shit, man. I'm telling you. Unreal. So July 18th, 2007 now. We're going all the way to 2007. Salt is wanted. He is wanted by the police. He's been okay for a while. He's been clear for a couple of years. He's probably off probation, but he is now wanted by the police for several warrants. Felony warrants, including, guess which one? Failure to pay child support again.
That's no good.
Didn't learn his fucking lesson. You did 6 months in jail. Dexter Manley came and visited you. What the fuck is wrong with you? Did it not get through?
Told you to visit the kids.
Unreal. So he's wanted on this day, on July 18th, 2007, the Beaver Creek Police Department, they receive, Beaver Creek, Ohio, they receive a tip that Salt is in the area, basically, of North Fairfield Road in Beaver Creek.
Wonder who called.
He's been seen. Somebody who knows him called. You know it was somebody who's like, prick. Yeah. And he called because...
Fucking jerk.
They give him insane details, basically.
Tommy Smith saw him.
Yeah,
that's what happened. Tommy's like,
exactly
that motherfucker's in town.
I see him. Finally, it's been 30 years. I'm getting my revenge. 29 years. I have not worked since 78. Do you understand that? God damn it.
So good. You've been putting up with me since 72. I've been thinking about this since 78.
I got fired from the Jiffy Lube. Do you get that? You know what that feels like?
Kmart laid me off when I hooked up 2 5-inch speakers backwards. I reversed the polarity and blew out the speakers, and now I don't have a fucking job.
I got nothing now. Shit. So in Beaver Creek Police, like I said, they received the tip. Officer Sean Williams of the Beaver Creek Police Force is on the lookout for him. He's the guy who gets the call. He is told this is how much information that somebody gave. They didn't just say, hey, I think Salt's in town. He might be on this side of town. They said he's driving a red Mercury Marquis, license plate number DTX 9896. That's detail.
Tommy Smith is pissed.
He is pissed. I just picture him looking out from behind something like, get him.
I saw him.
Finally. So Officer Sean Williams receives the description of Salt. He doesn't know what Salt looks like. He's probably not 50, so he doesn't know who he is. Right. So he receives it, just not a Dukes of Hazzard fan, apparently, whatever. So Officer Williams is looking for him around in that area.
What year is this?
2007.
Oh, that detective is not a Rockford Files fan.
No, he's not at all. He's an officer. He's not even a detective. He's he might have been a Duke Boy fan growing up. Maybe. But this is interesting here. So he pulls into Officer Williams, finds a BP gas station, BP, British Petroleum, pulls into the gas station and drives behind the building like cops always do. They go like in a grocery store and they go behind it. Make sure people aren't smoking crack back there, jerking each other off.
And also, too, so that the public doesn't complain about whatever they fucking do. Like, if they park a little too close or something, somebody's going to call and be like, this dick.
I can't tell you how many times as a teenager I was like smoking weed behind a grocery store and we saw like a cop coming and we're like,
what the fuck?
They just cruise by looking for us basically. But instead they find a red Mercury Marquis. And he sees the plate number starts with DTX. So he's like, pretty good deal here. The police officer sees a white male standing next to the car talking on a cell phone that fits Walther's description. He's in his 50s, his right height, right weight, hair color, everything is the same. So he pulls his car, his police cruiser, within 10 yards of the red Marquis and saw that the man really fits his description then, because he fit like the rough size description. He's like, oh wow, he actually looks like what they described. Sure. So he's he gets a little closer, puts on the lights, his spotlight on him. Right. And not the whirly lights, just the spotlight,
right? The one on the side,
and
of the
headlights and the lamp, right? Basically. So he gets out of the car, approaches Salt. he makes eye contact with. So he said he made eye contact with him twice. Once in the car before he turned the spotlight on, and then once he got out, he said he made eye contact with him again. Salt made eye contact with him, and then Salt put his hand over his face. I just blocked out the mic. Put his hand over his face. He has a cell phone in one hand, and then he puts his other hand over his face, to try to
trying to block his image.
Like the cop.
Don't look at my face.
Like the cop would go, "Oh, never mind."
Yeah,
I thought it was
totally not you.
It's not you.
The license plate is this exact same.
Your description didn't say your head was replaced by a hand, so I guess it's not the guy. So
then he put his hand over his face, but didn't block anything because he's got no fucking fingers.
Got no fingers. Yeah, it was very short, very short.
Put his hand over his chin.
That's all he got, as far as he got. So as the officer Williams is approaching him, Salt gets back in his car and pulls off at a high rate of speed.
Awesome.
He said he's coming, fuck that, gets in, takes the fuck off. So the cop, Officer Williams, gets back in his car and starts chasing him. Now he is chasing a goddamn race car driver. What are you doing,
what
first
are the
of all?
odds?
That's the thing. And you have to, as a cop, you have to go like, I'm not going to fucking race this guy. This is comfortable for him. They don't cops, you think like cops, they would teach them all this. They don't give you anything. There's like a defensive driving course and they send you out there. They don't teach you how to weave in and out of traffic at 90 miles an hour like a NASCAR driver.
If the cop had listened to this episode, though, all he would have to know is just rub him a little. Just rub him. Just bump him. He's going to bounce into the fence.
Don't worry. He'll flip right up in the side. Just hit that wheel.
Just tag him a smidge. Pit maneuver.
In a ravine in 2 seconds. This is what he does. I don't know. So officer says Salt was weaving out of traffic at an insane amount, and it was like traffic. Like it wasn't 2 cars on the road. And Salt is he's a goddamn race car driver. Yeah. He's not afraid, and he knows how to manipulate
He's going
a car.
after the pole position right now.
Yes. Officer Williams chooses to abandon the chase.
Good call.
He says for the safety of the concerns with traffic, and he didn't want to be the guy who couldn't fucking catch the guy after a 20-minute chase, and he looked like a fucking idiot, basically. He's a goddamn race car driver. So Williams, the officer, returns to the station just to make sure and get a photo. I don't know why he couldn't get it on his computer, but I don't know, Beaver Creek, Ohio, I don't know if they weren't too technologically advanced.
Don't you have live video streaming from your fucking car?
Not then. So he goes to get the photo of Walther to positively ID him, and he says it's definitely him.
Right.
He said this was 15 minutes after he had seen him. So it's pretty fresh in his mind. He can identify him from a photo.
Definitely.
Witnesses do it a year later. They pick somebody out of a photo lineup, and the cops go, "Yeah, that's gold." Okay,
it's a fucking traumatic experience too. You just fucking had to chase the man. You got within a couple feet of him. You made eye contact.
You saw him. You ran away. You were like, "You fucking jerk off!
Get
back
he's
here!"
missing fingers.
You saw the whole deal. So he's still wanted in July. This goes on. They don't catch him right away. He's still wanted. He's just on the lam right now. Like he is like the Duke boys basically. He's got Roscoe's chasing him, and they're hit out somewhere.
How about that? He had a bit part in a show, and then he ends up living the life of the show.
He has turned into a Duke boy. He's the third cousin.
He is Bo Duke.
Yeah, he's Salt Duke. That's his name. It's or David Duke, which would make him
that's
Klansman.
Awesome. Yeah.
So let's not do that. So anyway, he's wanted by the police. The police are putting out press releases asking for the public's help to find him.
Wow.
Like, we got to find this jerk off, basically. We have a Beaver Creek detective, Rodney Curd. He says in the newspaper, quote, "Currently, he's wanted by the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office for a probation violation. He's wanted in Warren County for non-support warrant. Let's get him off the street before he hurts someone."
Yeah, no
That's
doubt.
what he says, because if we approach him, he's going to drive away at 100 miles an hour, which is pretty dangerous, even for a race car driver.
Mercury.
In a Mercury, yeah. It's not exactly, an Indy car here.
No.
August 14th, 2007. Salt is finally arrested and charged with failure to comply with the police order and signal of a police officer, basically. So he's finally arrested. I don't know how they arrested him. That wasn't ever anywhere to be found. But
they caught him by
know.
surprise.
Yeah, I feel like he was like online somewhere, online at a Circle K
Skin
or something.
graft appointment.
Skin graft appointment. Probably his probation officer. They're like, there he is again. So August 16, 2007, 2 days after he turns himself in, Salt is sentenced to 26 months in prison for non-payment of child support.
Oh, that is 2 years,
That's
sir.
2 years in prison.
And 2 months. That's a long time.
That's for the latest none. He apparently owed $21,000 in child support.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
And that doesn't go away after 2 years.
No.
You better fucking figure out how to pay
That's what
it.
I mean. Now he's really in trouble, and we have an in their own words on this, which is amazing, and he has a different amount.
You found a quote from him after this?
I found a quote
this is
on
awesome.
this. This is good. He talks. He's a talker.
Oh, boy.
This is him on jail and on his whole situation.
Right.
How do you like in jail, basically? This is in 2008. In their own words, quote, "It's kind of disgusting. You can just make the best of a bad situation, but I'm going to say it like I said it before. I'm not guilty. On that back child support, yes, but I could not. When a judge says you've got to come up with $18,000 in the next week or you're going to prison, I don't know too many people who could do it right now, the economy the way it is." He blamed the fucking economy.
That's awesome.
Like he lost it all in the stock market.
That's so great.
Like, Madoff took me in that Ponzi scheme. Otherwise, I was fine. I would have had the money locked down. I had all my shit in the bond market and it collapsed. What are you going to do? Unreal. The economy the way it is. Wow.
I'd love to feed my kids, but in this economy, who can do that?
Who can feed your kids? I like the way you said it, too. Not in this economy. Said the economy the way it is. Like, you get it, right? Like, we all owe $21,000 in child support, right?
Awesome.
You do, reporter. You owe $21,000 in child support.
When a
you?
Judge says you owe $18,000 right now, in this economy,
this economy. He said, "Yeah, you're going to jail, asshole."
That's awesome.
So November 13th and 14th is his trial for the failure to comply with an officer. It lasts 2 days. I don't know how that trial will last 2 days. It's crazy because his lawyer asks a lot of questions of the officer. He is found guilty finally.
Good.
Jesus, he's sentenced to 3 years in prison.
Holy shit.
3, because this is just adding and stacking.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that he ran and never came back,
that's a big deal.
We're going to get you. And also, his license will be suspended for 15 years.
Holy shit.
15 fucking years is a long time. Holy
I've
shit.
never heard of anybody having it suspended that long.
Just say no more ever.
I know a guy with 7 DUIs. Yeah. He's never had it suspended that long.
He's 60 at this point. Just
it's
say,
over.
We're not giving it back to you when you're 75.
By the time you're 75, you're going to be too old and decrepit to drive.
I know. So now, Jesus Christ, now he has no driver's license. So even if he gets out, he can't drive, he can't work to pay the child support. There's kids that he hasn't supported. There is Tommy Smith has lost his goddamn job. He's been on so many drugs. He's been DUI. He's made this cop crazy. Made a reporter look like an idiot for doing a fucking fluff piece. I feel bad for all these people, Jimmy. I feel bad for all these people. But not nearly.
This is awesome.
Not nearly as bad as I feel for David Walther, Senior Vice President of Engineering at Nalubo Inc. in the San Francisco Bay Area. Or David Walther, travel agent and intern scout at Ohio Valley Basketball League.
In Ohio. That's terrible.
That's rough. David Walther, attorney with the DWL Group, as in David Walther L, so whatever the L is, group in Santa Fe, New Mexico. He has over 40 years experience in family law. He could help the other one get out of child support
Somebody
cases.
could use your help, Mr. Walther.
Holy shit. David Walther, doctoral candidate and assistant lecturer at Texas A&M University.
Wow, he's got a good life.
David Walther, expert in transaction advisory services, mergers and acquisitions, and financial diligence at RSNUS in Houston, Texas.
Holy shit, that's a business card.
That's a fucking job title right there.
That takes an index card to fucking get that title in.
I was like, I got to get this title
that's
right.
A lot.
Boy, that man deserves respect. And finally, David Walther of davidwalther.co, not .com, davidwalther.co. This guy, wow. He fancies himself a, quote, healer medium gatekeeper, is what he says himself. He says basically he can help all your spiritual things. He even says he can help with if you have a haunted house. He can come to your house and he's a spiritual advisor of
the
all.
other David Walther is a better person.
Yeah, this guy's a jerk off. It's true. This one.
A jerk off.
Let me tell you why. You don't even know why yet.
No.
He's a jerk. He teaches classes of how to teach other people how to be a jerk off.
Fuck
At least Walther's not like, let me sit you down and tell you how to not pay for your kids and run from the cops.
This
also,
guy's
too,
a dick.
Let me get you a good heroin addict. There you have it. Here's how you do it now. So this guy's just a dick.
What you got to do first is lop your fingers off.
Lop your fingers off. Now, so fuck, man. Walther's fine though. He's sitting in jail right now. Salt's sitting in jail, and he says, in their own words on jail.
No way.
Again, another jail quote. In their own words on jail, quote, "I'm treated like a celebrity. I'm treated very well, but everyone's good to me. I've had no real gripes. It makes me sick to be here, and it's disgusting, but it is what it is. I showed you the letters I got from China and Germany and a lot from the United States, and again, thank you for all of that." He's literally thanking his fans.
Wow.
He's like, listen, I know everyone loves me. Got your letters all across the world. Thanks, guys.
Wow.
Be out soon. Unreal. Unfucking real.
I hate him.
I hate him too.
Does
He's
he
a
just
douchebag.
does he send like autographed pictures of his hand in the glove? Like is that his thing that he does? That's
it's like,
beautiful.
It's like what's his name? Was it Session was saying the ones from prison?
Yeah.
Was he sending out the pictures from prison? No, who was the guy doing the pictures from prison next to the other guy?
Oh, the fucking the wallets.
Yeah,
somebody had a wallet. I think it was it Session?
I don't think it was.
Was it the garden party guy?
I don't think it was.
No, it wasn't.
No, it was in the U.S. He was taking
it was just
pictures.
a recent one, just
recent.
2 episodes
Jesus,
ago. I can't remember his fucking name.
It's not Woodfield.
No, it was before that.
It
was
Woodfield.
You're
right.
damn right. It was the
Woodfield,
fucking
he was
serial
working
killer.
Out, yeah,
Yep.
serial killer.
Yep.
God, this was like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's been a long 3 weeks, guys.
It was Woodfield.
And we do another show, so it's
He sells wallets when fucking... They took away our fucking weight room, but we're still ripping it up.
Wallet-sized signed pictures from jail. Unreal. So
the only person that's more recognizable in a leather glove than this guy is the man with 6 fingers from Princess Bride.
That's it. The only one. He's like the shitty, stubby version of that.
Awesome.
He was the understudy.
Yeah.
Like, if anything happens to this guy, we got stubby fingers over here.
We got a guy who's...
It's a glove. It's fine.
It'll
Same
look
shit. So he appeals this, by the way. He appeals the failure to comply in 3 years deal. He appeals it on grounds that the officer couldn't have made a positive ID on him, not seeing his picture, and he says it wasn't him anyway. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. That wasn't me. That was another guy who looks just like me, drives the car I drive with a license plate, and can drive 90 miles an hour, swerving from traffic away from the cop. Another guy. Just another one. Okay.
Great defense.
Perfect, right? He says that he didn't see the photo. The cop didn't see the photo until 15 minutes after, and you can't possibly remember a face for 15 fucking minutes. So I saw the court transcripts where they get this cop on the stand and ask him, have you ever worn glasses? No. Can you see well? No. Okay. You have this. How close were you? This distance to the back? You know what I mean? The whole deal to
I
show.
hope that cop was a fucking fighter pilot in Nam or something. He's like, I've got perfect eyesight.
Look, I can see, okay?
346 confirmed kills because I saw them.
He ID'd them in court.
I walked up close. I can tell you what each and every one of them looked like.
Including this asshole.
Right. I have a photographic memory, and I remember fuck faces that try to run from me.
2008, Salt says he plans on releasing a book of his life.
Oh, God.
Jesus, he says it will be very honest.
What is it? Salty Life? What is it?
We'll see in a second.
There's stickers in the South that are called Salt Life for like people on the ocean.
Oh, yeah. Well, we have it in their own words about what the book will be about here. And wow. In their own words on the book, quote, "The cocaine, the crack, the meth. I've seen what it did to me, and the book tells parents that this is how you spot it and this is what you do."
I hope that's the title.
That should be it. The cocaine, the crack, and the meth. That should be the fucking
That's
title.
awesome.
That's the book he wants to release,
What
selling
a dickhead.
like a parental guide on how to spot if your kid's undelauded, I guess. I don't know how that would happen. But
listen, Lawrence Taylor already wrote that book.
Yeah. There's been a lot of people wrote that book, actually, that we've covered. November 21st, 2008, his appeal is denied. Decision affirmed. He can go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
You, sir, may fuck off. Right back to prison with you. Now, November 22nd, his birthday, 2013, Kings Road West Productions releases the book, The Salt Walther Story, For the Race of Your Life, it's called. Which is a terrible title, and it's an ebook.
Good. I hope nobody buys that.
It's one of those ones where you write it and you can submit it to Amazon and people. That's one of those basically. That's so weird. They couldn't even get a book deal. He's got an interesting life. We just did this. It's interesting.
Right.
He's a fucking
but I don't want
lunatic.
to. I don't want to read the book. I'd rather listen to two idiots make fun of him.
Me too. Yeah. I don't want to read it from him.
For the race of your life.
For the race of your life.
That doesn't even make any sense.
You can see on it here. I have it crossed out, because I wrote, the race of your life, because I just glanced at it. And I'm like, the race of your life, and then I looked again closer to make sure, and I'm like, that's not what it's. The fuck
doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah, your brain, when you see that sentence, it just sees the race of your life. Right. Like it doesn't compute the 4 because it makes no fucking sense. Like your brain cuts it right off.
For
Mine
the
does
race
anyway.
Of your life.
Now, February 7th, 2012, he's finally released from jail. Mm-hmm. Finally, good Christ, he's been in jail forever, deservedly so. Yeah. That was, that's before his book came out.
Right.
So he's released and he gets his book out. Okay, November 18th, 2012. This is 4 days before his birthday here. Before this is because the book came out later. He is arrested again. Again! You dumb son of a bitch.
Race of your life.
He's racing to the jail is where he's racing. He's arrested. It's in connection with the same 2007 incidents with the failure to comply.
Fucking
Apparently there was another charge hanging around of obstruction of official business.
Oh, awesome.
I don't know how that ended up slipping through the cracks or whatever, or the statute of limitation. I don't know if he was out and they were like, we got another charge hanging around. The statute's going to run out. Let's just bang him with it and get him back in jail because he's a fucking lunatic. We don't want him on the streets. I guess so. But I think he bonds out of that situation.
Okay.
That's in November of 2012. And on December 27th, 2012, he dies.
Holy shit.
He fucking dies.
Awesome.
Straight dead.
Yeah.
In Montgomery County, Ohio. Cause of death originally was ruled undetermined, but there's a bunch of news speculation later on, and not speculation, like leaks from the jail or whatever.
Toxicology reports and shit like that.
It appears to be drug-related. And even if it wasn't drugs at the time, it was drug wear-down that ended up killing him. So
that's awesome.
He's fucking dead. He dies. His book came out after he died. Comes out a year later. Nobody gives a shit. It's
for the
an
race
e-book.
of your death.
For the race of your death. So he's fucking dead now. End of story. So one guy we don't have to worry about killing us, so that's great.
So funny.
So he grew up, he lived, he was a fuck up, he died. End of story.
Goodbye.
That's the whole episode.
Thank you for your story.
Jesus, thanks, Salt. So that's Salt Walther, guys. I bet you've never heard of him because I never heard of the guy
I hope
before.
you never have, and I hope you never hear of him again.
Jesus, what a mess. I like the race car guys because they all race like boats and do crazy. They're all nutcase adrenaline junkies. I love this. They're hilarious.
100% lunatics.
I love them, and I love boxers and MMA fighters and all that. They're the most fun.
Their life is always turmoil. It's never just...
It is.
And his didn't have to be.
No.
That's the crazy part. Like, all these stories are
He's
like...
rich
They
from
work
birth.
so hard and they do great in their sport, and then they fucking go off a cliff. This guy never did great in the sport.
You look at Tommy Morrison, Willie Mays Aikens.
Right.
Tommy Morrison's mother's a prostitute.
Made something out of nothing.
Willie Mays Aikens didn't have plumbing and a dirt floor. You expect, they might end up fucking up eventually.
Fast Eddie Johnson had to pick fucking watermelon.
Yeah, this guy literally was from a steel magnate family. He could have done anything he wanted, and most of the time gotten the fuck away with it, too. That's how dumb you have to be. You have to stack charges to not be able to get out from under him.
He did it himself.
It's ridiculous. So that's Salt Walther, guys. Hope you enjoyed that.
Bye, Salt.
Bye, Salt. We're going to get to shout-outs in a minute here. Before we do that, just want to say, please, once again, if you like what you hear, go on iTunes. I know it takes 30 seconds to sign in. Please give us a review. Tell us you like what we're doing. Tell us you're following instructions, whatever. Give us 5 stars. It means the world to us. We put in a lot of work, and if you want to help out, that's how you can help out on the business end of this. It drives us.
There was somebody this week, Karen Cupcakes, who went and she doesn't listen on iTunes.
Yeah.
She went to iTunes and created her own account just to review our podcast.
We've had a few people say they did
That's
that,
awesome.
and we can't thank you enough. Honestly, that means the world to us.
Yeah.
It really does, because that means you guys.
You went out of your way to do something for us that we'd go out of our fucking way to do.
Do it for you, guys.
Yeah.
Anybody out there who's got a podcast, you need a review, you hit us up and we'll do it.
There you go.
But definitely do that. And also, too, if you really like what you're listening to, go to patreon.com/crime and sports. You can throw us a few bucks, and there's some rewards on there. If you don't want to do a recurring thing, you can just go to PayPal. Our PayPal is crimeandsports@gmail.com. Also, before we get into shout-outs, please listen to our other podcast, Small Town Murder. You definitely want to do that. It's so fun. Really good. We take a small town and a murder that happens there. We pick it apart, and it's kind of like this, except a little more sensitive because sometimes they're not...
People don't fucking appreciate jokes sometimes.
A lot of times we're dealing with like a dead teenage girl. You have a little more sensitive.
To write a joke about.
Yeah, than some guy who killed his friend in a drug deal or something.
That's a lot easier.
It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier. So listen to that. Also, you can check me out on P.S. I Hate This Movie, where we make fun of romantic comedies and pick them apart, and they're very, very fun, with Sarah Hunt, who's our social media person. And let's get into shout-outs,
But
Jimmie.
first, let's go back to, I'm going to make my plea real quick. Please donate to Patreon.
Please.
I want to get James health insurance. That's
Don't
so
let
important
me die,
to me.
guys.
Don't
Thank
listen
you.
to James with his just soft telling you, please help. I'm fucking telling you from the bottom of my heart, please help me, because I can't fucking afford to put him on my health insurance.
There you go. Oh, one other thing, too. If you want to get a hold of us on social media for a shout-out, give them the social media. It's at Crime and Sports, Instagram, Twitter, Crime and Sports at Facebook.com/Crime and Sports, crimeandsports@gmail.com is our email, any of these things. And you can get a shout-out like this.
Yes, and real quickly, Heather, John, and Kathleen Fitzgerald up in San Jose, California. I went and did shows at the San Jose Improv last week, and she came out and hung with me in the green room and talked. Everybody, by the way, wants to know how we know each other and why we get along so well.
Us?
So real quickly, just a quick description of how I know James. We both do comedy. We ran into each other through comedy, and we became friends enough to text and phone call each other, and we both bonded upon our hatred of different things that involve are involved in comedy.
Complaints and grievances.
Right, and grievances. James is very good at airing them. So that's how we became friends, and then we ended up talking for hours on phone calls during the day, and this is the product of that. This fucking thing here. So I love James, and I respect James, and neither of us are trying to upstage each other. So if you think that we have chemistry, that's why.
That is why.
So there's your fucking long story.
No one's trying to win. We're just trying to have fun. Trying to make each other laugh. That's it.
So Leon Collins and his wife, the real Snuffy 78, they're the ones that were telling me about Dexter Manley stuff.
That's awesome.
They listen. Jay Cascio, Dino MC. These are fucking names from iTunes. So if you guys could put your names on there, it would make me feel less of a dickhead saying things like Miss Inky, put chips on a sandwich, Sandy the CPA. Those are really hard to just blurt out and give you credit for being so nice to us. But I did it. So there you go. Nick Redondo, Danielle Hanna, and William Billy James McClellan. He's in the UK, I believe. Yeah. He's a terrific man. So thank you guys so much for listening.
Also to Adam Yates on Patreon.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks, Adam.
I just pledged $50 on Patreon on a Patreon
son
thing.
Of a bitch. You're a darling.
God, thank you so much.
Thank you, Adam.
We can't thank you guys enough for that.
So thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for donating. Thank you for talking. Thank you for just engaging with us. We do this and we do this for you. We do this because of you. So thank you. It's been fun.
We've been saying this for a year. We are comics. We are not journalists. We don't have a big network.
We're dick joke slingers.
We don't have Panaplay or Wondery or NPR. We have none of this shit behind us. We're two comics. We don't have a network. We have you guys.
You're it.
We have the crime and sports movement, and you have not done us wrong yet.
Yeah.
We thank you so much for it, and we're going to keep coming back every single week. We will be joining you live from the Crime and Sports Studios. We will see you next week.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus